That's still pretty clear for the phone.
Yeah, I mean, Dub has a nice Android, so his quality is pretty decent. I respect it.
Oh, you're an
Android.
Android user.
Mm-hmm.
Don't disrespect me, bro.
What's wrong with an Android, Dub?
Yeah, what's
I
wrong
have
with
I
Android?
have an Android. Are you disrespecting me?
Yeah,
Mm.
you're fucking
Mm.
weird.
You use Bing.
Okay, and then we're both some weird dudes.
Bing is weirder than Android,
I don't care. We're both weird. Weird is
but
weird. Weird is weird.
there's weird and weirder,
Weird is weird.
weird and weirder. So I mean,
We don't have to do this, man.
yeah, we don't. Dub, this was meant to be your show, but then here you are on your phone. Like this is your show. Miami Heat winning in Game 7. You're
Right.
meant
Oh
to
yeah.
you're meant to be bragging right now, talking about how made it to the finals. Jimmy Butler top 5, Bam Adebayo top 5 big man, blah blah blah. And here
Right.
you are with negative vibes.
Yeah, my whole day has been ruined because literally all of my technology in my house has been ruined. So I'm kind of not
Mm.
in a good mood because of that. As you can see, I'm trying to fix my PC, and my laptop right here is not working. So we're here, but Miami's gonna win the not the Super Bowl. Miami's about to win the finals, though, bro. Like I think. I mean, I'm happy, bro. I'm happy. We defeated the Boston Celtics, which was my pick to win. We defeated the Milwaukee Bucks, which was a lot of people's pick to win. A lot of people for the whole season been saying the East is going to win the championship. After the Nuggets doing what they did against the Western Conference, they're just having recency bias with the Nuggets. So it is what it is. I mean, I'm not like people are always going to switch up based on how good a team looks against inferior competition. So it is what it is. But no, I just can't wait for the finals to pull up. Jimmy Butler with that rim pressure, Gabe Vincent playing balling out, Caleb Martin. If he keep playing the way he doing, bro, it's over. So people keep bringing up the Nuggets offense, and I hate it because they're just being stupid. Like nobody, especially at that high of a level, is extremely hard to stop an offense. So it's
So so
stupid.
so Caleb Martin isn't recency bias.
He's been performing crazy. I mean, what
Is that not recency bias?
Recently, though.
Yeah, is that not recency
recently?
bias?
If he keeps playing like this, I mean, what do you want me to say?
Okay, so if Denver keep performing how they were performing, what do you want me to say?
Nah, but Caleb did against better comp, man. He did
Okay,
against better comp, but I don't expect Caleb Martin to perform. I don't expect Caleb Martin to perform the way he did against the Celtics, but I don't think we need him to. As long as Jimmy being able to, I don't think the Nuggets really have the personnel regarding Jimmy and the Miami Heat crew, Gabe Vincent, what he can do, and Kyle Lowry. So I just think that offense
Kyle
is,
Lowry.
yeah.
Mm.
I think that offense has just been this one. I think the second best offense in the playoffs. Been the second best offense in the playoffs. I think the best 3 point shooting team or second best 3 point shooting team in the playoffs. So it's kind of hard for me to think that a team like that, on top of having the second best defense in the playoffs, is not going to win a chip or just getting destroyed like everyone says. It's just stupid.
So you have Miami in how many games?
6 or 7. I'll say 7.
So Game 7, Jimmy Butler gets it done. That's what you're telling me.
We'll
Finals
see.
Finals MVP, Jimmy Butler.
Finals MVP, man. Not conference Finals MVP. He robbed Caleb Martin, but
Facts.
but
Facts.
yeah, but Jimmy Butler Finals MVP. And for everyone that keeps saying, because they just love saying it, what are you gonna do against the Nuggets offense? What are you gonna do against the Nuggets offense, bro? Almost every year, it's not about if you can completely stop an offense. It's just if you can just make them work and work for their buckets. You're not gonna stop offenses like that, like the Nuggets, like the Golden State Warriors. Um, just teams like that, the higher level you go, it's just how challenging can you make it so that the other side of the ball you can capitalize onto that. And people, for some reason, just forgetting that's how basketball works, and it's just stupid. It's just stupid.
Lowe's laughing at you in the chat. Um, Mars, Mars, what was your takeaway
You could
from?
send you could send low you could send low the link.
What was your
If
takeaway
Lou wants
on
to
the
link,
on the
he'll ask.
series?
On the series, I was wrong. Boston, I had winning the series. They didn't win the series. Maybe it's a different game if Jason Tatum doesn't get hurt on the first possession of the game. Who knows? But
True, 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 true.
I was disappointed with the fact that Boston decided to not be able to shoot for the second game in a row. That was disappointing. Um, Jaylen Brown showed why he's not on the same level as Jason Tatum. He showed definitively why that conversation needed to die.
I'll be speaking on that soon.
Shout out to Derek White. He had a very good game. Shout out to Derek White. I think he played well. Robert Williams gave some decent minutes. But for me, my biggest takeaway was the fact that Miami just seemed to not miss threes in big games. No, like Gabe Vincent, Duncan Robinson, Caleb Martin, even Kyle Lowry, they just seem to not miss shots when they need to make shots. Whereas Boston it seemed to be the other way. When you need those threes to go in, they can't make any threes. So I think that was the difference in the game. I think Miami was like 50% from three, and Boston was like 2% from three. So that's really the difference in the game. Hello Dub, you're back. Welcome back. But I'm gonna read some super chats and then bring the first set of guests up. Alan R, Jokic ring gonna hit like crack in the 80s. I'm sorry, Dub, what Jokic is gonna do to Bam will be rated R. I don't know if Dub has an opinion on that as he travels around his house. So
Dub, do you agree? Like, don't you? Did we watch the same Bam in these last couple of games, or like, bro? Bam was awful. Bam couldn't score against Derek White, Jaylen Brown. He didn't even have to really defend. Like, he was going one in that zone, right? He was going like 1-on-1 with like Al Horford and Grant Williams. They were the ones catching it in the middle of the floor. If they do that against Nikola Jokic, and people know I'm not the biggest Jokic guy, Jokic is giving him 40 in that situation, 1-on-1. He's giving Bam 40. I don't even know why Dub thinks it's like crazy to say. Like, I don't know, bro. I don't know.
I mean, I think it comes down to Spo and what he comes up with more than what Bam can do 1-on-1.
Yeah.
Ahmed, Nuggets in 6, but Jimmy is him. Happy for both teams. I think this is a very good finals. I'm not mad that this is the finals. And JB said the panel is ducking. The panel is indeed ducking. Let me bring up.
Why didn't we get a panel today, Mars?
I am not allowed to disclose any information. I'll bring up Jetson, Dev, and Context Matters.
Yo, I got a question.
Hello.
If you really want to talk about this game, though,
let me think, because my mic is kind of going in and out. Let me tag me back in for the second round if you go.
All right, bet.
I got a question. Is Derek White better than Jaylen Brown?
He's not.
Oh my
God. We're not gonna go that far.
I don't know.
No,
he did turnovers. Them 8 turnovers, man.
But real talk, Mars. I also have another take. I heard you said this on the stream, real talk, and I agree 100% because I've been saying this. I hate how he doesn't play Robert Williams that much. He only playing like 14 minutes or 20 minutes a game for the series. I understand he has like the injuries, all that, but when him and Al Horford on the court at the same time, they're really, really good. And Robert Williams, he saw Robert Williams' impact, and he also becomes a lob threat on offense. And yes, he kind of like, he doesn't kill this. Yes, he kills the spacing a little bit, but it's not that bad of the spacing doesn't go down because Al Horford can still shoot. Tatum, like, you still have shooters around him with Robert Williams. So I hate how like he doesn't play Robert Williams that much to help him. Now we can't hear you, Doug.
I don't think he kills the spacing at all. I think
exactly.
I think he provides his vertical spacing makes up for his lack of quote unquote floor spacing. But some narratives did die last night. Number one, this idea that Boston is like this super talented basketball team. I didn't see that all year, and I didn't see that in these playoffs. They have guys that are very repetitive. Like, a lot of guys are repetitive. JT and JB, although JT is clearly the better playmaker and decision
and defender.
And defender. Yeah, he's the better player. But they're just redundant. It's so much redundance on their team. When you look at like a Derek White and Malcolm Brogdon, and it's a lot of redundant players. I think they need to shake that up. Their best 5 for the past 2 years has been Smart, Brown, Tatum, Horford, and Williams. But this guy just refuses to play that lineup for whatever reason because he likes the idea of shooting. And
Oh,
I think this playoff run is exposing like this. If you think just getting up threes is how you win basketball
Yeah, look at the
games,
Warriors and
I'm
look
here
at
to
the
tell
Celtics.
you, bro. That's not it, bro.
Yeah,
It's
because
just not
man.
it. It's not.
Joe
It.
Mazzulla's mid, bro.
they need a
Joe Mazzulla's
downhill
mid.
guard. I feel like if they had a downhill guard to control the offense, because Jason Tatum's a good
Russell Westbrook.
Yeah, I was thinking that like a Westbrook.
I mean, he's a definition of a
Hey,
downhill guard. I mean,
It's a fact. And he's a defender now, apparently.
when
I don't know,
KD's on
maybe.
the other side, yeah.
Maybe, I don't know. But like I feel like because Jason Tatum, he's a good playmaker. He's not like the greatest, but like I feel like he's better utilized if he's off ball more, being more of a scorer and all that. And then you have honestly, I feel like if Gallinari was healthy, he probably would have helped the Celtics all year because he would have played. No, here's why. He could have played.
He's a Hawks fan, so he has to defend Gallo. It's fine.
Yeah, I had to defend Gallo. He helped my Hawks. Come out the bench, shoot. That's a little bit.
8 years ago, probably.
You wouldn't bring no
You think
defense,
more shooting is what Boston needed?
Do you think they need a backup center, like another backup big?
I do. I think they need a backup big.
They don't use them. They have Robert Williams, and he doesn't use them. So I don't know what.
But I think he did because to play out Horford and Robert together, I do think they do need a backup big.
That's what I mean.
To come off the bench, because I feel like he has to limit their minutes together to play them one at a time to make sure that they do always have a big on the court. I think that is his reasoning behind that. So if they do get a backup big, I think that'll help keep Williams and Horford on the court at the same time because
they have Mike Muscala come off the bench, so that's why I said that.
Don't disrespect Mike Muscala. Don't do that. One more super chat. Lil Twan said Jaylen Brown needs the ball hog gloves.
He needs the sun.
Hey,
Jaylen Brown, you can still come to Atlanta though, Jaylen. You can still come back home, even though
y'all still want him.
I mean,
true,
you can still come back home. We'll give him a little money.
Jaylen Brown for Damian Lillard.
You keep it Deontay?
Deontay?
Yeah.
We'll give the Hawks. We'll give y'all Celtics DeJounte. We'll get JB, and then we'll get Jeremy Grant in the free agency.
Oh my god. Okay, so we're making things up.
We're
I mean, trading mid for mid is crazy.
W with us now?
Y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Welcome back.
But
we got 2K dubs.
You on a game? You on a 2K?
Well, listen. When I don't got a computer in front of me, I'm on my phone. I'm gonna do whatever I want. So screw it.
Man.
But Mars, then Caleb Martin had a crazy series. He shot like 60, 49, and 88, I think. Or something crazy like that.
We need to talk about the fact that Reggie Miller is a liar. That's what we need to talk about.
Reggie
Miller, every game while he's commentating, Caleb Martin, if the Heat win this series, Caleb Martin's going to win the MVP. Who does he vote for? Jimmy Butler. He's a fraud. He is a fraud. Reggie Miller, the whole series, all I hear him say is Caleb Martin is going to be the Eastern Conference Finals MVP if the Heat win. And then he goes and votes for Jimmy Butler, and Caleb Martin loses by 1 vote. That's ridiculous.
Mark Jackson,
Reggie Miller
crazy.
Reggie Miller is a cheat.
He's a Mark Jackson merchant, bro.
Yeah, he's a fraud. He is a fraud. I will not respect Reggie Miller for that. And that's 2 years in a row where the conference finals MVP has gone to the wrong person. So it's a terrible award with no credibility.
Who had it last year? Who won it last year?
Steph Curry. No, I'm talking about in the West. Steph Curry.
Oh,
it should have been Kevon Looney. But they robbed him. It's fine. We move and process.
No, I got a question.
You gotta understand it like this, Mars.
They don't want to give it to role players. That's it. Yeah. They don't want to give it to role players, and it's disrespectful.
It's more about how it sounds and how it looks. Like I tell people all the time, this whole sports shit is about how things look as well, and it doesn't look good. Jimmy Butler being the 8th seed, going to the finals and possibly winning, and he's not the Eastern Conference Finals MVP.
Well, tell him to play better then.
Yeah, and I also think it's because they just started it like 2 years ago. So
yeah, they don't want to do a Jerry West with the first Finals MVP. And different. So now they're just giving it to the best player on the team that wins. Which,
exactly.
I mean, it's
just a pointless award. It really is a pointless award.
Yeah, it means nothing because Kevon Looney should have won the first ever Conference Finals MVP and he didn't. So I don't care about the awards
because
that's what.
Because I thought it should be like at first I thought it was like is it for the whole playoff run or just the series? So it's like
Kevon Looney, huh?
Yes, Kevon Looney. Remember those 20 rebound games he was getting against Dallas?
It was killing me.
That's why he deserved it. But it's fine. It's fine. Everyone wants to hate on Kevon Looney and his contribution, but it's cool.
But did you hear about the 76ers hiring Nick Nurse?
Y'all talked about you talked about the fraud Jaylen Brown.
Oh yeah, we talked about Jaylen Brown for a little bit.
Yeah, he's a
Dub,
fraud.
Dub, what-
We all
Dub,
know
what
that.
do you-
He's going to
Dub,
be
what-
as
What do you have to say
all
about
episode,
that? What do you have to
First
say about
opinion,
Jaylen Brown,
Dub.
Dub?
Jaylen Brown is and honestly, I like Jaylen Brown's game. I get tired of people like Ron and Bobby just overrating him for stupid reasons. The moment where JT gets hurt, and with him being hurt, Jaylen Brown's supposed to step up. He's supposed to be this guy that is on the same level with Jason Tatum. He's damn near the same guy. They should start feeding him the rock more. It was his time to shine and prove that. But what happened? Contested mid-range, contested threes, bad decisions, losing the ball. Bro, I don't want to hear nothing about Jaylen Brown being on the same level as Jason Tatum. He killed himself by having that performance.
I think every turnover he had was because of his handle. Literally every single one.
He's a better off ball
Every
player.
single
like,
one.
I think they should play more off ball. I don't know why.
Y'all had recency bias
Well,
because
Stevens
on the
was
box
there,
score,
yeah.
y'all had recency bias because on the box score in the finals, his box score just looked better than Jason Tatum's. But if you just watch the freaking game, you could tell that Jason Tatum, with him still playing like that, he was still the better player because he had way more responsibilities and was handling way more than Jaylen Brown. But no, y'all just want to look at the box score like Jaylen Brown was carrying. Y'all just sound stupid.
How was the I don't remember, what was the offense like last year?
Really, the points, not even the entire box score. Really, just the
Mars. How was the offense? I forgot how the Celtics offense was last year. Do you think if the Celtics offense like better, like how it was last year, they would be more successful this postseason run? I don't remember how it was last year. Their offense.
I think Boston's playoff offense, I still think they would have ran into the same troubles last year as they did this year, just due to the fact they lacked a playmaker, they lacked consistent decision making, and Jaylen Brown still couldn't dribble the ball with his left hand. So that I still think they would have the same problems. But I think with Ime Udoka, I do think that their offense was less one-dimensional to what it became against Miami. So it goes either way. But I do think Joe Mazzulla is being made a scapegoat wrongfully. So I don't think he's just as bad as people made him out to be. I think he did an okay job. So I don't like that people just seem to be blaming Joe Mazzulla for everything. Like I don't think he did everything wrong. So,
yeah, I think the first 3 games, I think the first 3 games he was terrible. But after those first three games, I thought he didn't do that bad of a job. I thought he started making the adjustments. The offense was looking better. They were getting the looks that they wanted, even off of the zone. Because if you see, they ran some pick and roll action with Al Horford, and Al Horford did his job to kick out to a wide open 3. They weren't hitting it. Like, what else do you want the coach to do? He's breaking the zone. The guys ain't hitting the shots. Like, I don't.
Is your controller yellow? Is your controller yellow?
It's great.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Turn down the 3.
What's wrong with it, Morris? What's wrong with yellow?
Just because you open from 3, you gotta take it. That's not you don't. You can re-drive the ball. I think, bro, Joe Mazzulla, well, I call him Joe D'Antoni. Joe D'Antoni, bro, the fact that they asked him in the post-game interview, do you think that this team is too reliant on the 3 ball? No. Then you're being stubborn because you can't literally, when y'all hit 3s, y'all win, and if y'all don't, y'all can't win the game. Besides, like Game 6 was an anomaly. They shot like 20% and won. They typically do not do that. If they don't hit 3-pointers, they don't win. That is a bad brand of basketball. Nobody has ever won in the history of the game playing like that. Period. It just doesn't work.
2015.
And then they lost their defensive identity when Ime left. That's what really turned them up. I mean, the offense did get better, but what Boston was, what they are to their core, especially with these group of players, when they don't particularly have like a great playmaker to get them into easier shots, then their defense needs to be stout, so they're not playing against a set defense time and time again. But they lost their defensive identity. They dropped like 8 points as far as defensive rating this year, and it showed up. And like They're a team that needs to get stops and then get out and run.
Yeah, because
offenses.
Because in 3 games they won, they started playing better defense.
They won
in the passing lanes. I feel like Jason Tatum on Butler was making him struggle a little bit more. Because obviously Jimmy Butler's gonna get his, but you got to put like a guy with size and strength on him. So because he likes to get to his spots and get to that floater, got to make those shots hard on him and closing out on the 3-point line. Because Miami was shooting good. But I have one more thing, and I'm gonna let him go for a quick.
Dang, you made yourself the boss? That's crazy.
Oh, no, my fault.
No, it's fine. It's fine. Everyone can run the show but me.
It's because he wanted to say something. I
just had a little quick little side note. I had a double question. Dub, you on the Xbox?
Yeah, I got both. I got Xbox and PS5.
Oh, okay.
All right. Sorry.
Okay, and a PC too.
Yeah, Dub's different, man. Dub, what games you good at?
Right now I'm playing UFC. I tell people all the time, if I get back into sports games in a week or two of playing 2K or Madden, I'll be unbeatable.
Cap.
Dub stinks.
Everybody says that.
Dub gaming.
Dub is terrible.
I want to put money on it.
Dub gaming money on it. I can be in 2K.
I can put money on it, but
a fighting game you got it. But 2K or Madden, I got it.
Dub gaming, I'll kill all of y'all. I promise you. I promise.
In what?
Everybody says that, bro.
In what game?
Any game.
Any game is crazy.
You see, now you just chat. He chat.
In any game, I'll kill y'all. Chess, checkers, fucking 2K, Madden, it don't matter. Any game, I'll kill y'all.
Dub is terrible at 2K. Just so everyone knows, he's terrible.
Well, you played with him, Mars. You played with him before?
I played against him when he was on US servers. I'm playing from Europe on US servers, so I can't shoot because I'm on 200 latency, and he beat me by one possession. Dub is terrible. I made 1-3 the whole game. I was Boston in game 7.
What did I say? What did I say though? That was the first time I played. That was the first time I played. That was the first time. That was the first time I played in years. Literally, that was the first time I touched 2K.
I made 1-3 the whole game.
Give me a week.
Mark, did you play any 2K before that?
I've never played 2K 5-on-5. Like I only play like my career or rec or park or whatever. I've never played 5-on-5 until that game against Dub, and he beat me by one possession.
I haven't played in years. I haven't played. I haven't played since COVID.
Dub, that's fine. You're terrible. It's okay to be terrible. Like, there's nothing wrong with being bad at games. Like,
cool. Mars, we could run this back.
Dub, you were born in the last millennium. Games are a bit before your time. Like,
Mars, what game you play? Mars, what game you good at right now? You play FIFA?
I don't play games. I'm a grown man, Dub.
I have priorities. Now you're a grown man. It was my birthday recently.
Yeah,
you maturing too fast.
Exactly. I'm mature.
Mars, you tell me the best game. You tell me the game that you're your best at, and I promise you, in a week or so, I'll start beating your ass. I promise you.
I don't play sports games. They're all terrible. I'm not gonna lie to you.
But you know, I don't like mine. Does play though.
Sports games died out after like 2017. Yeah, see, Dub. If you wanna do a game, we can do NBA trivia. I'll cook you.
I think it would be. I'll say that.
Players George Jeopardy.
You don't know
basketball. That's what we need to do. You
don't know basketball.
Facts. Yeah. You don't know ball, man. Dub, who was the 1971 NBA champs?
1971. Boston?
Oh, you're cooked.
No,
oh my god, Dub.
Wait, I got a question.
Wait. Let me think. Knicks?
No, Dub.
No, it's the Bucks.
Thank you.
I thought they won in 72.
It was the Kareem.
No, they did not win 72. That was the Lakers, Dub. You're cooked. So, someone needs to come up and take Dub's job, man. You don't know what he's talking about.
Wait, man. Dub. Who did the Spurs face in the '99 finals?
The Knicks.
Okay.
I remember that shit. You bring it up.
Wait. I got a question. Did Patrick Ewing play?
Bro, I was on the show when Mark.
Oh, no, just double checking to see if you remember.
Dub. Which two teams played in the 1987 finals?
1987.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Lakers and 1987. 88 was the Pistons, so I think it was Boston.
Okay, nice. Good work.
Okay. Yeah, that's
What
76.
What year did the NBA merge with the ABA?
That was in 1977, 6. One of those years.
Which one? I need 1 year, dub.
I'll go with 7. I think it's 7.
Okay. You know, ball. You know, ball. 1976, 77. That year. So
It was that year.
I'll give you that.
I know a little bit.
Okay, dub.
Okay, let me read these super chats real quick. Joe said 38-year Bron 40 on a bad ankle, or Giannis during Finals MVP versus what? 38-year-old Bron 40 on a bad ankle, Giannis during Finals MVP and versus the Heat. Luka was injured versus the Clippers and versus Golden State Conference Finals, all criticized. Yet media favorite JT praise. Does anyone understand what this is talking about?
I guess he's trying to say that Giannis, Bron, and Luka were criticized when they were hurt, and JT's not getting criticized.
Like they get
JT's catching plenty of heat. My mentions have been blowing up because JT didn't play well. So you can that's not true. That's not true.
I didn't even know Luka was hurt in the conference finals last year. That's news to me. I didn't know that. So that's just something I didn't know.
Miles don't know ball, man.
Yeah, man, I don't know ball, man. Jaylen Brown might as well have noodles for arms. Makes no difference. He's gonna lose the ball regardless. That is fact.
Jaylen Brunson better than him.
Okay, let's calm down. Shonen Goat takes. I wanted to call out a few things. It was so weird to me how the panel was ready to fire Mazzulla, especially since he was a first-year head coach, but they were irate when other coaches got fired. I agree, but I mean, I'm very happy with Doc Rivers getting fired. I think that was necessary. Monty Williams, I don't think he needed to get fired. Bud needed to get fired, but Monty Williams, I feel, was done a disservice. And Nick Nurse, I think they just parted ways for the sake of the team. But I don't think Mazzulla needs to be fired. So, does anyone
Philly
else?
going from a doc to a nurse. Let's see.
That's a downgrade, isn't it?
That's a downgrade.
That's a downgrade, isn't it?
Wait. Has Nick Nurse blown a 3-1 lead?
No. But has Nick Nurse been to has Nick Nurse been to 2 finals? Has Nick Nurse been to 2 finals? Okay, there we go. See, two can play at that game. 2 can play at that game. And one more, Shonen again. You can disagree with his schemes, sure, but he has major success and almost completed an 0-3 comeback in a stronger East. Ime last year almost lost to his team too if Jimmy hit that 3.
No,
so
yeah,
he's basically saying they were in the same spot.
Yeah, I do think what's his name? Ime would have done a better job, but I mean, I agree with Mars. It's not like Mazzulla was out there. In the beginning, he was playing 2K. After the beginning, he did what he had to do. You got to give him credit for that.
Would Joe Mazzulla beat you at 2K? Would Joe Mazzulla beat you at 2K with his tactics?
He would have to need the right team. But
wait, will Doc Rivers beat you at 2K?
Huh?
Oh my god!
Doc Rivers beat you at 2K.
Rivers, Jesus Christ.
Doc Rivers, he can't even talk properly. How you gonna beat me in 2K?
Okay, let's not be disrespectful, Dub. Sleeping and sturdy. Do you guys have anything to say?
I want to say, can you find me mid-team both top 5?
No.
Wow.
Because he's not.
Okay, name me 5 players. Name me 5 players right now.
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Okay.
Nikola Jokic.
Okay.
Stephen Curry.
Okay.
Luka Doncic.
No.
Joel Embiid.
Embiid is
Kevin Durant.
Hold on. Let's stop at
Jason Tatum.
Let's stop. That's
good 8, Mars.
Anthony Davis.
That's a good one. That's a good 9.
I don't know how many names I've got to, but he's not top.
That's 9.
80 would have been better. Joel.
Mars.
Dub, you're not about to tell me Joel Embiid is worse than Jimmy Butler because he played.
Mars, what do you value? Playoff translation, right?
Dub, okay, if your argument for Jimmy Butler is that Joel Embiid is always hurt in the playoffs, that is fine. Okay. If that is the argument you have to make, that is cool. But that means you know Joel Embiid is better than him.
Shut your
you're
mouth.
taking Jimmy
Shut your mouth.
because he's hurt.
Shut your mouth.
There we go. That's fine. If your argument against Embiid is because he's hurt in the playoffs, you don't have an argument for me. I'm not gonna argue.
Mars, can I ask you a question?
Everyone else is better than him.
Can I ask you a question?
You can ask your question.
Okay, Mars. Why do you get superstar players to win games and hopefully win your championship? Correct.
That's not the only reason.
Yeah,
That's the main reason. I'm not saying that's the reason. That's the main reason. You're not paying superstars to put up fancy numbers. You're paying them.
look at Portland with Dame, but carry on.
Okay, okay, yeah, that is it's confidence fantastic. But yeah, if Jimmy Butler is able to take these teams 3 Eastern Conference Finals and 2 finals, and he's done way more than like 99% of the top 10 in the past 4 years, I don't understand why he's not top 5. If this was
Because he doesn't play better than them.
Yeah, he's not better than them.
What's that with Luka?
Man, I don't know what to say.
What's that with Luka? Luka's actually Kwame Brown off the ball. He sucks off the ball.
I agree.
And if he does not have the ball, he's useless.
But when he does have the ball, what?
He's better
He's
than
way
Jimmy
better.
Butler.
Way better.
No. But the problem is when you're completely useless without the ball, and then also he did not have a great Western Conference Final. So the one time he actually faced real comp, he got destroyed.
Define real comp.
Speaking the Golden State Warriors. So like speaking that freaking Phoenix Suns team fraudulent. Who did they face in the first round last year?
They are fraudulent because
Not a Suns, not a fraud.
Now they're fraudulent.
the Suns are fraudulent because
Just
what?
look at last year. They got embarrassed 2 times in the past 2 years against teams
Okay,
that
the 2023 Suns are different to the 2022 Suns, so they do not correlate. So tell me why the 2022 Suns are fraudulent.
because I was low on Devin Booker because I knew that man I knew he was not the best playmaker. I knew he was not. I know he still can't freaking make it out of double team somehow. I don't know what he's doing all offseason, but somehow he sees 2 people and he becomes freaking Kwame Brown. He can't do shit.
That doesn't explain how they were fraudulent. That explains why you.
Also, DeAndre Ayton. I always knew DeAndre Ayton was not that guy. He has never been that guy. People say he was better than Bonus and Dan Bio. I don't understand why anyone ever thought about that. I just thought this team. There was so many holes in. There's so many key problems that you actually have to look at that game that you won't see. You just won't see just like casually watching it. When you actually look at this team, they have a lot of exploitable problems with this.
Who?
The Phoenix.
So
The
Luka.
Suns last year.
Basically,
This still doesn't explain how they are flawed. You're just explaining how Luka exploited their weaknesses.
yeah, that's what he's saying. Mark. He's saying it's Luka's fault for exploiting those teams' weaknesses. That was you basically saying.
No, I'm not saying it's Luka's fault. I'm just saying people thought this team was way better than it actually was.
I agree. People.
That's why I call it fault.
People
Yeah, but you didn't explain why though.
But that doesn't. You said, and I quote, Luka beating the Phoenix Suns isn't real comp. That's what you said. That what you are saying doesn't explain how that's not real comp.
Okay, when I mean real comp, I mean actual like a championship level team.
They were in the finals the year before that.
How many championship level
Yeah,
teams?
and they had the number one. They had the number 1 seed in the West that year as well.
So I don't understand.
Wait, so was Utah. So when were Utah?
Utah was 2021. 2022.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Come on, 2022.
Matters. Being number 1 seed doesn't really matter. You need to be a good.
What are we arguing? Are you trying to say like Jimmy Butler is better than Luka?
He said
Yes.
yes, and he said, and one of the reasons is because the only time Luka faced real comp in the playoffs,
With the Warriors.
he didn't play great, even though he played the Clippers in 2020, played the Clippers in 2021,
And he
played the
lost.
Suns in 2022, but only real comp.
Wait. You're saying the Clippers aren't comp?
No, but he lost to them, so it means nothing.
No, I don't think
Even
they
though
were.
against Golden State, he was talking about how Luka
I
didn't
think
play.
they're all-
But now he's talking about the fact that
We've
he
been,
lost.
we've been trying. We've been trying.
But you praised Jimmy Butler. You praised Jimmy Butler for what he did last year against Boston, right?
Last year against Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he lost.
But he lost. So why are you gonna praise him for losing?
I'm not. Hold on.
You're cooked.
I'm
Send him to the gulag.
No. I'm praising him. I'm praising him for freaking playing amazing in the Eastern Conference Finals. But I'm not hyping him up to the highest heaven because he lost. He just lost. Is the context of the reason why he lost? Yes, but a loss is a loss.
Okay, cool. But the context of Luka playing extremely well against the Clippers, going against Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, while his next running mate was who was his running mate? Jalen Brunson or KP?
Yeah,
Jalen Brunson.
Brunson was still there.
Porzingis in 2021 and
Porzingis
Porzingis was hurt in
2021.
2020.
Yeah, so him performing well against that monster of a crew, you should praise him for it.
The problem with using ticket talking points is just because you don't yell it or say it with some corny jokes, it don't make more sense. You gotta actually have to back up what you're trying to say. Just because Jimmy's top 5, just because his team made it further, that's not good enough to say he's better than 6 or 7 other players.
Okay, here's why he's top 5. Because I think Jimmy Butler. I think Jimmy Butler is one of the smartest basketball players in the game right now. I don't think there's like outside of like LeBron, Chris Paul, maybe 1 or 2 other players. I don't think anyone's as smart.
Nikola Jokic, carry on.
You can. I don't know.
This guy.
Listen, it's all right. You got to go back to the drawing
You're
board.
chatting right now.
He's chatting. Wait. I have a question, though.
Sleeping, you can make these arguments in Discord and it's fine, but once you get onto the stage in front of 1K people, it's not looking good for you.
Wait, but I have a question though. So you saying since Jimmy is top 5, he's better than AD?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, I try to push that. I'm not doing that.
I don't think
Thank you.
I don't think AD.
Thank you, Doug.
I don't think AD will win a championship level team.
You said what?
So this take is a lot like your mic right now, Cook. So is this
Wait. Let him get it off.
You don't think AD what?
I don't think AD can be a championship level 1.
Okay.
What's a championship level 1 mean?
A champ. I mean, the number 1 best player on a team that can lead their freaking team to the finals and potentially win it. I don't think AD.
But AD did that already, so I don't understand.
When?
In 2020.
LeBron was the best player on that team.
But then there was there was no argument for AD.
It was definitely arguable.
It was just clear.
Yeah,
Clears. He clears.
AD was just number 2. Like there was just no argument.
Yeah,
I think LeBron James is comfortably the best player.
Do you think KD can be a championship number 1?
Right now?
At any point.
Any point?
Woo! Damn, the fact that you're thinking about it.
Woo!
I don't trust KD.
So you think Jimmy Butler can, but you don't with KD.
I've seen Jimmy Butler do way more impressive stuff in the playoffs.
Has Jimmy Butler won a championship? I missed.
My God.
He's won 2 finals games in his life.
Did I miss the year that Jimmy won the chip?
The same thing KD did.
KD also made the finals as the best player on the team, right?
You know, KD also stepped up.
What happened?
The same thing that happened to Jimmy Butler.
Right?
The same thing, yeah.
The same thing that happened to Jimmy Butler. They lost.
When he got one-on-one coverage, he was cooking. Like Jimmy.
And also we had to compare the teams they had.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So you think Jimmy Butler? Do you think Jimmy Butler's gonna make something happen in 2016 with that Oklahoma City Thunder team
versus the Golden State Warriors?
Wait,
that team would be terrible.
In 26 Jimmy or Jimmy today?
Jimmy now, not 2016 Jimmy.
Yeah, Jimmy now. Yes,
he wouldn't even be the best player on the team, though.
I think
you do know Jimmy Butler. Just so you know, Jimmy Butler is not better than Russell Westbrook in 2016.
Exactly.
Just so you know.
I don't understand.
I just want you to know Jimmy Butler would be the second best player on that team. Like, I just want you to be aware of that.
Yeah.
So as long as you're aware of that, that's fine. I just need you to make sure you understand.
What do you have to back that up?
Watch Russell Westbrook play,
and
then watch Jimmy Butler play, and try and convince yourself that Jimmy Butler is better than him.
He clears on defense.
I agree.
Okay, and what else? Wait. What else?
No, I agree. He clears on defense. Like,
I know, but I'm saying, what else though? What else?
Yeah, now
what else is he better at?
And like offensively, I don't think the gap is that far off.
Is that gonna be your
Between
argument?
KD and Jimmy Butler?
No, Russell Westbrook in 2016? Is that your argument for Jimmy Butler against everyone?
No, because it sounds like AD's better.
Like if I ask you Jimmy Butler or Jokic, Jimmy Butler clears on defense, right?
Yeah, but
And the gap is not too far off.
Hold on, I think Jokic is historically great on offense. So I think
Okay.
the offense.
Okay,
I think
so
the offense.
I'm going to move down the league. Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler clears on defense, right?
Yes, but he's also the best shooter of all time.
Okay, there we go. So now we got to Steph Curry. Kevin Durant, Jimmy Butler clears on defense, right?
Yes, 100%.
But the gap on offense isn't that large, so Jimmy Butler's better.
Yes, 100%. I think he provides. I think Jimmy Butler provides way more than freaking KD, especially currently right now. I think he provides way more than KD.
And the argument for Jimmy Butler against Embiid is injuries, right?
And yeah, I think that's probably you to it.
Wait, what about Devin Booker in this playoffs?
Devin Booker in this playoff is feeding off of Kevin Durant.
Oh, so Kevin Durant's impact.
He was feeding off of Kevin Durant and freaking Jimmy Butler. But even you say Jimmy Butler was still way more impressive than freaking D Book, even with his stats. And you watch the game. Jimmy
Are you a
Butler,
believer?
especially the first round, Jimmy Butler just took over on defense and offense.
Are you a believer in gravity and impact?
Yes.
Okay, so you just, by your own admission, acknowledge Kevin Durant's gravity and impact by Devin Booker saying that KD being there is what allowed Devin Booker to be there. So Kevin Durant, along with being the better scorer, he causes more gravity. He has more impact because of the defensive attention that brings onto himself for Devin Booker to get off. So if you have that understanding of who Kevin Durant is, how are you going to say that Jimmy's better than him when Jimmy don't even cause that amount of gravity? He doesn't cause.
Wait. Also, we also have to take account that they were facing a Kawhi-less and PG-less Clippers.
And Jimmy faced the Bucks without who?
Giannis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
1-on-1.
Did he not come back?
He was 1-on-1
for 2 games. Yeah, out of the 5 games, Giannis played 2 games in the quarter.
Wait, Mons, did you not say Jrue Holiday was the best perimeter defender in the game today?
Yes.
And he got cooked like the whole time?
Have I also not said that perimeter one-on-one defense is much less valuable in 2023 than it was 15 years ago because of the fact that you need team defense? So if you're going to use my arguments, make sure you use all of my arguments to make your point.
Is Brook Lopez and Giannis not some of the best freaking rim protectors in the game right now?
That's so disingenuous, bro. Jimmy Butler is
how many
taller than Jrue Holiday.
Once again, how many games did Giannis play in that series?
Like what the hell?
He played like 2 1/4.
That's a nasty.
Okay. What did I say about Coach Bud the whole year?
He was trash.
Okay.
But also,
I said, if you're going to use my arguments, please use all my arguments in context.
You also have to take account that freaking Bam was dealing with a hamstring injury the whole time. Kyle Lowry and Jimmy were dealing with leg injuries. Tyler Hill was out. Victor Oladipo was also out.
I know, but you bringing up Kawhi-less Clippers, Giannis didn't play the whole series. The 2 times that Miami have beat Milwaukee, Giannis has got hurt in both series. Do you acknowledge that?
I do acknowledge.
Two of the conference finals runs that Jimmy Butler has made, Giannis has gotten hurt in those series that he played against the Bucks. You acknowledge that, right?
Did you, even after Giannis got injured, did you have them winning?
Oh man,
what?
Did you have Giannis? You had the Bucks winning.
Did I have the Bucks winning the series even after Giannis went down?
Yes.
If he missed the whole series, I thought it would go like 7 games. I probably would have gone with Milwaukee. That answer your question?
So even without freaking Giannis, he still had them winning.
Yep.
For the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And they lost in 5.
Yes.
Yes, they did. Does that make Jimmy better than Giannis now? By your logic?
I don't think that. I think the only players comfortably over Jimmy Butler right now is like Jokic and Giannis. Everyone else.
No Steph.
So he's arguably
wait. No Steph.
I guess you could vote. I guess you could vote that.
Can we
thing.
stop? Can we stop?
Nah, because he's trying. He's I don't know.
my biggest criteria of how I rank players is what have you shown me and what have you achieved in the past like 2 years.
Let me ask you something. Do you watch Fluent and Chill?
Yeah, somewhat.
Didn't you have Jimmy
stay
Butler
on
top
ticket
5?
time.
You had Jimmy Butler top 5 last year though, right?
No, I had him top 10.
Oh, so he's moved up this year.
Yeah, because like he can see it, when somebody's continually showing that, hey, I am comfortably a top 5 player in the playoffs basically every year. I'm in the playoffs. Yeah, I'm gonna move him up.
2 years in his whole life, but sure.
Was he not top 5 in 2020?
Nope.
No.
I implore everyone to stop remembering 2020 as just the final series.
Finals. The leading scorer for Miami was Goran Dragic.
What's Goran Dragic?
Before the finals.
Let me tell you.
He was the best overall player on that team, though.
But hold on, wait. Let me tell you the top 10 people in that year, right? So you have.
Nigga wasn't even averaging 20.
We have, wait.
Like, bro,
Bam would have won Conference Finals MVP.
Wait. So we have Giannis.
That is a fact, Morris. That is a fact.
Steph, LeBron, AD. Who else we got? We got KD? Question mark.
KD
in top 10. Top 10.
KD wasn't even the play. We're talking about the play.
KD didn't play 2020.
What year are we talking about? 2020?
But Joker.
Yeah,
talking about 2020.
Oh,
Joker.
Yeah, Steph didn't play either.
Oh, he didn't play. I don't know why you
include Steph.
I was just asking. Like
Giannis, LeBron, AD, Embiid,
Joker,
Giannis, Jokic.
Are we just sleeping on Bubble Murray? We just sleeping on him?
Luke, no.
Yeah, y'all can argue Donovan Mitchell that year too.
Luka Doncic was better.
I thought we were talking about who played the best in the playoffs.
Oh, who played? Oh, my bad.
That's why I spoke about
Jamal Murray. Definitely.
That's why
Jamal Murray
and
Donovan Mitchell definitely.
That's
LeBron, AD cleared him. Luka probably. Luka.
Correct.
Mitchell, Jamal Murray.
Correct. Right.
That's 5.
I'm not.
I'll say Kawhi before Game 7 in that second round.
Kawhi too.
Kawhi's a good one. Let's see who else.
I think
Dame.
Anybody in the East? Giannis.
You said Dame. You said Dame already.
Dame got hurt. Dame played great in the 8 games, but then he got hurt against the Lakers.
Yeah, Embiid played great in the playoffs.
Players.
What about Harden?
No.
James Harden played great
in
the bubble.
against us. Yeah,
but is that top 10 worthy
against the Lakers?
Is that top 10 worthy?
I'm just naming people who play better than Jimmy Butler in the playoffs.
Harden was definitely playing better.
Okay.
I don't know what y'all.
That's all I'm doing.
I just don't think I care about like defensive impact and like overall impact at this point.
Okay, so who was more impactful, Jimmy Butler or Bam Adebayo?
the whole playoffs or just the final?
The whole playoffs.
The whole playoffs.
Jimmy Butler.
Why?
I think when it comes to his scoring, his playmaking, his freaking defense, him basically running the offense for the most part. Because since he's
talk about. Do you know what?
But Bam is a better defender though. So
hold on, wait. Do you know what was going on throughout that postseason run? Because it really gets me upset. It's not that Jimmy was doing all of this workload. That regular season Jimmy shit that people was talking about. That's what he was doing in the Eastern Conference rounds. You had Tyler Hero going off, and that's how he got the Hero song made because of him. Because of that, Goran Dragic, Jimmy and Goran Dragic, they would share the load, especially for closing games, because they were our 2 best scorers. They would be closing games for us. Goran Dragic would be handling the rock, scoring for us. Bam Adebayo, he would be giving us a consistent, I think, like 18, 17 a game. With good defense and the dribble handoffs and the passing that he would be doing. So that the regular season Jimmy, where people say he just doesn't try, that's what he was doing in that Eastern Conference run. He wasn't going this bonkers banana Jimmy Butler. No, he only did that in the finals. That's it. That's the only time he did that.
Bonkers.
Everyone else, Duncan Robinson
was
earned his contract because he was balling out. Like the whole team was balling out. It wasn't Jimmy doing everything and setting everyone up.
We were just running a system.
And this is where Miami was peak dribble handoff.
Peak dribble handoff.
So this Jimmy Butler playmaking you're referring to, it was dribble handoffs. That's what they were doing. Dribble handoffs. So and if you think that Jimmy Butler was the most impactful player on the team, that's cool. But the arguments I'm hearing is his scoring and his playmaking. When his scoring, he was less consistent than Dragic. His playmaking, the Heat system was dribble handoffs, and that's why Bam just seemed to be at the top of the key, throwing the ball to Duncan Robinson or Tyler Hero or even Jimmy Butler. So there wasn't a whole bunch of like getting downhill, drawing double team, kick out. Like that wasn't really happening that much. So
Dragic was our player.
And then defense, we know Bam Adebayo was the best defender on the team. So I'm just curious as to how Jimmy Butler was the best player on the Miami Heat in the 2020 playoffs, and how it's been misconstrued into Jimmy Butler's led this many teams to the conference finals, when in 2020 it's not clear that Jimmy Butler was the best player on the team in that.
Hold on, Mars. He could be the best player. He could be the best player on the team, but the bar, that's all I'm at. The bar is not far off from everyone else.
I agree.
So this
idea that Jimmy Butler just carries teams deep in the playoffs is not true.
Exactly. In 2020, we were all operating on a crazy level where Jimmy Butler could have been the best, but like Dragic, Bam, Hero, they were that far off from him, bro. It wasn't
the only time he really carried was this year
with Kelly Olynyk,
and even then his role players shoot like 50% from three.
So last
they can't miss. So I mean, it's another year where he shouldn't have won conference finals MVP. But that's
exactly. We're literally saying Caleb Martin should have won conference finals. Like, bro.
I think
he had a great
I'm gonna move you
on. People say that because speaking of role players like really stepped up. I think that's the only reason I can say that.
Hello, context.
Jesus, what's going on, fellas? Salute. Real talk. What's going on? Mars, what's going on? Dub, you already know. Heat. Let's get it. Heat Nation, man. Bro was chatting crazy. What's up, Sturdy? What's the word? I don't even understand why this conversation. I don't know why this conversation was even. I don't even know why we entertained it. My brain is fried listening to that conversation. But let's do some proper shout outs. Shout out to Joe Mazzulla showing us that he is not ready to be a head coach yet. Mazzulla runs in the air. And Dub, I understand what you're saying. Yes, he did make some adjustments, but I think the players, just like Rasheed Wallace said about the Doc Rivers thing, that the players were drawing up their own plays. I think some of the players decided, we're going to draw up our own plays. We're going to go into our own actions, and we're going to go away from that bozo 2K shooting that Mazzulla wants to do. The first shout out, Duncan Robinson. Finally, bro, you took that podcast money and got you a ball handling trainer and an off-ball movement because, he played. That was like the perfect way to play as an off-ball player. His movement was impeccable. He was making the right decisions. Besides those 2 threes, everything else, he played like, as far as like his role to be on that team, he played perfect. He kept Boston super honest, and especially with his movement. And Caleb Martin playing himself into a big contract. Shout out to J. Cole. Shout out J. Cole for having some type of pull in the NBA and getting Karan to get him a contract. So that's super dope to see Dub Martin going crazy. The thing that I wanted to ask Real Talk about was it's safe to say I agree with you 100%, brother. There's levels between Tatum and Brown, and it was evident. It was evident to see the ball handling, decision making. He has a lot of tunnel vision. He's sometimes indecisive. Even in the movements that he does when he does score, there's indecisiveness. He doesn't know if he wants to pull up. He doesn't know if he want to go straight to the rim. I think he needs to go to Phil Handy. If you could watch some Phil Handy instructional videos and just be in the lab and work as a ball handler. If not, he needs to play with a point guard that's going to get him the rocks so he could be a finisher. That's why I don't think Boston is going, as much as Jason Tatum is crying for him to get that contract. I don't think Boston feels like he's worth that. They're going to spend close to $600 million, fellas, on 2 players. That means your roster is cooked. You're going to have to sign literally veteran minimums, and you're not going to be able to get quality backups, especially for the big man, because you need a quality backup. I don't think you're going to get that. So they're going to have to decide, like, if they're going to ride with Jaylen Brown, I don't think that's going to happen. I think they're going to either sign him and trade him to try to get a guard like Damian Lillard or Trae Young. I think that would be perfect for Boston. Like, Damian Lillard would be the ideal spot, but if you can't get him, I would go for Trae Young and try to get Naz Reid as the backup. He's only a mil. He's only like a mil. He's gonna definitely get a bump in his paycheck, but I think you could be able to snag him. If not, you try to move some guys.
That's not nice, though.
Huh?
Nah, he was being a bitch.
Sorry, context.
Yeah, but like, so it's either that or like John Collins. Like I would try to like do a Trae Young and John Collins package and see if maybe you could get some more, because a lot of people don't realize that John Collins can actually shoot. He doesn't get a lot of opportunity, but he can shoot. I'm not saying he's a knockdown sharpshooter, but he does provide some athletic diversity compared to Al Horford. Al Horford can't be starting at this point. His old I'm not to say that his old age is showing, but he's great in small spurts. But long lapses after a while, it's kind of like, you know what I mean? But yeah, for sure, like Jaylen Brown needs to get into the lab. Those 8 turnovers were like, it wasn't off of passing. It was all of just your dribbling is poor for the way that you want to play.
Bro, the dude been in the league for how long now, right? His dribbling has gotten
like
better.
6, 7 seasons.
His dribbling's gotten better from when he started. He can't. It's just, this is a flaw in his game that's going to be a flaw in his game for the rest of his career. Like, some people, that's just who they are. And his handle is probably something that's always going to be suspect. KD, when Mike James said it on the YouTube, he said, yo, KD been trying to practice this move for like years now. I told him, bro, you're just not going to be able to do it. People just can't do it, bro. And Jaylen Brown, he got so much better from his rookie year. So you expect me for me to expect him to take another jump? No, it's not going to happen. It's not simple like, bro.
Well, Dub,
Exactly. I completely agree.
Why can't he? But why can't he take a jump though?
Well, damn.
My fault. It's just a question. It's just a question to Dub. Like, why can't he take another jump? He's only 26 years old, bro.
Because it's so hard.
There's such a thing as a ceiling. That's why.
Yeah, it's so hard.
Correct.
He hit his ceiling at 26?
In terms of ball handling, probably.
Yeah.
What you talking about, bro? A lot of people reach their ceiling at 26. A lot of people reach their ceiling at 22 and don't develop nothing else. Like, it just happens. And I just don't think a guy like Giannis, for example, right? How old is Giannis?
28,
like 29.
He's never going to be a great jump shooter. It's
Never
going to happen.
We've been saying ever since he was 26. Oh man, once he develops that shot,
yeah, and I believe we all think he's working.
No, I never said
every offseason.
Exactly.
He's working on
exactly.
It's just not manifesting. It's not manifesting.
No, I understand. I understand certain players. I think that's unrealistic, even at that time, to ask Giannis to develop a decent, consistent mid-range shot. Like, that's just unrealistic. I'm not saying as a player, you have your strengths and your weaknesses. So all you can do as your career progresses is refine your. You can't overcome all your weaknesses. You just can't. Certain weaknesses just built in your game, like Dub is alluding to.
Perfect. That's what I'm saying with Jaylen Brown. That's a weakness. I don't think.
What's up, fellas?
Hello.
Who the hell is that?
Good games.
And if you think about like Jaylen Brown's rookies, like he has progressed as a ball handler, because at first he couldn't even really create his own shot like that. Right. But there is a ceiling to some people's development. Like, people don't get better at certain things. They are probably working tediously at that. I'm sure Jaylen Brown in the off season is going to be going left.
Mm-hmm.
But then come game time, there just won't ever be a strong suit of his game, and that's okay. He's reached his ceiling. Like, I think the only thing that the thing about the Jays, the reason why I've said to maybe keep them together is that every year they've gotten better.
Right.
Like from their rookie season, and like you've seen them improve in aspects of their game. But like this year, I saw JT took a playmaking leap. Right. Jaylen Brown didn't. Jaylen Brown is literally this year and last year, he's the same player.
Right.
He's not the same player. He's not.
No, he's probably a better shooter.
He's
so you telling me his scoring didn't improve? His scoring didn't improve.
No,
his shooting didn't improve. His finishing didn't improve.
Bro. It improved by a point. He's the same player.
By a point?
He can't. Last season he has like 25 or 26. This year is like 27. It's a point. And last year he was already very good at scoring at all three levels. Like, will the volume in some of his seasons increase? Sure. But as far as
Bro,
him
he
as
went
an
from-
overall
he went from
player,
24 to 27.
he's already good at scoring at all three levels.
Stop being a
that's
casual.
He went from
something that he
24 to
needs work
27.
on.
Bro, stop being a casual, bro. Just because you have your
How's that casual? No. That's not 2 more points. That's 3 more points. No. Like I said, Dub, I said he became a better finisher. That's a fact. He became a better shooter. That's a fact. And most importantly, he became a better mid-range shooter, especially at that elbow. That's all aspects of
He
scoring.
was a great mid-range shooter last year.
He wasn't this good. He wasn't. Don't look at it. He wasn't. From not his position, not just
last year.
He
was already a good 3-level scorer.
Yeah, he was a good. It was just
he became the point is to become better.
Okay, listen to what I'm saying. The deficiency in his game is not the 3-level scoring. So him taking incremental leaps in that section of his game isn't really going to change him as a player.
Right.
The areas of it where we want to see the improvement is his ball handling. Where we want to see the improvement is his passing playmaking. If he takes incremental jumps in those sections of his game, that's what makes him a better player. But if he goes from shooting 36% from 3 to 38, 39,
it's the same player.
Taking the same shots. It's essentially
that's not
the same player.
It's the same player because it's the same player. You're just talking about the effectiveness.
Yeah, he just has the same flaws as before. That's
exactly. It's the same flaws. It's the same
Yeah. You can say the same flaws, but they're not the same player. What I'm simply saying is, I agree with you. No, I agree with you. Jaylen Brown, not just in playmaking, there's other aspects of his game he has to continue to improve on. Like, I think his defense regressed because he didn't fight over screens consistently. He was missing baseline reads and communication. And in regards to his playmaking reads, I agree with you, especially going downhill and pick and roll situations, especially continuing his dribble going left. He's bad at it. But with repetition and film, you can get better at making those reads. And last thing, too, I think, remember, we forget, this is the 3rd head coach the Boston Celtics had in the last 3 consecutive seasons. So that means a different system. So I do believe they need to adjust that system more, play a little more pistol, so that way you get Jaylen Brown going backline cuts and coming off pin down action. That way he don't have to try to create on his own. Those are adjustments you can make as a player and as a team. I just completely disagree with saying a player who's shown who can be a perennial all-star capped off peak at 26. I never seen that before, ever.
That shit happens all the time. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
You can't be blind.
Let me say this real quick. Let me say this real quick.
You name a perennial all-star.
Let me say this real quick.
We see it all the time.
Name a perennial all-star who peaked at 26.
And for you to sit here and act as if this man Jaylen Brown,
Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis.
At 26?
That's
for
actually
you to say,
perfect.
how old is Rudy Gobert?
I said barring injury.
No. We're just talking about his natural progression.
How old is Rudy Gobert?
At 26. He has not turned into a different.
Rudy Gobert has peaked.
Like 28.
He's peaked.
Yes.
How old is Rudy Gobert?
Like 28. I'm double checking
the
right now.
The motherfucker's the same guy.
Nah, so Rudy Gobert is probably like 31.
He's like 30. He's 30. He's 30. Yeah, he's 30. That's different, dog.
He's had the same flaws for years. What are you talking about, bro? Jimmy Butler, his skill set has been the same forever since he was 26 years old. What are you talking about?
Yeah, he gets it from his dad, bro. He gets it from his dad. It's in his blood.
That's the point.
I don't see guys that star of the caliber player not be
Jimmy's flaw is he's an inconsistent 3-point shooter. He's been like that for 6 years, like you alluded to, right? But in the things he was still good at,
just like his dad.
He gotten better. He got better at the mid-range. He got better with his playmaking. He actually got better as a defender since, even though he's still a weak 3-point shooter, dog.
That's a whole nother player.
Jimmy Butler's jump shot was better 5 years ago.
Low
yes,
key.
Thank you, Mars. Thank you, Mars. It was better. His mid-range, his 3-shot was better years ago than it is now.
Yeah, you're losing me, yo.
What are you talking about?
Jimmy's jump shot, that's why they called him Jimmy Buckets in the Bulls. Where do you think the moniker came from? Because he was wilding up in the Bulls, bro.
They were calling Jimmy Buckets for years, bro. What are you talking about? It wasn't just that. It wasn't just that moment. They was calling Jimmy Buckets in the 76ers. They were calling Jimmy Buckets last 2 seasons with the Heat.
I remember people criticizing Jimmy Butler
His
I
jump
remember
shot
Hey,
was
criticizing Jimmy Butler
didn't
because
Jimmy
his
Butler
threes,
lead
because
the
his threes
76ers in
stopped
points
being
in
as
the
consistent as it
Eastern
used to be, bro.
against the Raptors?
Yeah, go. Yeah,
Against Raptors, probably.
Raptors. Yes.
that's what we're
Yeah,
No,
that's
that's what
crazy.
Jimmy
we're
Butler.
he
Jimmy Butler in his Minnesota Timberwolves days, and in the later stages of his Chicago Bulls career, he was a good 3-point shooter, or being like an average at least.
average, right.
And his mid-range shot was still there.
Was
When he
money.
was becoming a part of Miami, his threes took a hit. But even then, despite that, it's not like his game changed from his time on the Timberwolves to Miami. He's damn near the same exact guy, skill set wise. His playmaking didn't get that much better. You know what got better? He's actually on a system where he's running plays. He can do a lot more
Right.
dribble handoffs.
Right.
But it's not like his playmaking took a crazy jump.
No.
It didn't.
It's
He's been
personnel
some
and
guys-
scheme.
There have been guys on
Right.
record that we could just bring up where they've been the same guy for years.
Yes.
It's just who they are.
Yeah.
Jaylen Brown, guess what? You just can't dribble, my guy. It is what it is. You can't dribble. There's no excuses. You
That's
just
crazy.
can't do it.
That's crazy, dog.
You
I'm not
can't
gonna
Hey,
say
do
do,
that.
hey, do you
I'm
guys
not gonna
think
say
that?
And Dub, and my point is, if he comes back next year, right? If he comes back next year and say he shot 47% from mid range, if he comes back next year and he shoots 50% and he shot 36% from three and he shoots 39% from three next year, but he still has all of the same flaws. It's still the same player. For example, in 2020, the year the Warriors won the chip, Steph was having a down year percentage wise. That Steph Curry was still the same player. He was still shooting the same shots. He was Steph Curry. It was the same player. Percentages don't.
Hold on. When you say Steph
more or
is the
less
Steph,
not
when you
the
say
same
Steph
player.
was the same. When you say Steph was the same, in comparison to what version of Steph we're talking about? Because 2020 Steph played way better defense than he did his other seasons on the championship teams. That's a difference. And in my opinion, he actually did more playmaking. Was a better playmaker in 2020 than he was those other previous years they won the championship as well.
He got more opportunities to play make.
It wasn't just opportunity.
He got more
it was
opportunities. He got more opportunities to run that high pick and roll.
There we go. Come on, Sturdy.
The Warrior fans have been begging. Warrior fans for years have been begging for the Warriors to.
So his defense didn't improve.
More of that motion and go to more of that Steph.
So his defense didn't improve.
Steph Curry's been a great pick and roll player for years.
Yes, Steph's.
No, I'm asking you. His defense didn't improve. Then
I'm gonna tell you what was different.
What are you guys arguing right now?
Yeah,
he said Steph. Even though Steph Curry's percentages went down, he was still the same player. But I'm saying comparison to who? Because 2020 Steph is not the same. Even though his percentage was down, it's not the same Steph as 2018 or even 2017 Steph. He wasn't.
And he's hanging his hat on.
What he was disagreeing with me on is that I said,
hey man,
this year's Jaylen Brown is basically last year's Jaylen Brown. There's really no. You could if you increase in the part of your game that's already your strength, and you didn't do anything with your weaknesses. To me, you're still basically the same player. Jaylen Brown was already. Jaylen Brown was already a good to great 3-level scorer last year. Did he make incremental progression in that this year? Right. Sure, but he also did not improve in none of his weaknesses.
So you can't be a better player.
I think the best way to say it, instead of saying you're the same player, the game plan to defend Jaylen Brown will not have changed.
Okay.
You will still be defending him the same way because he has the same weaknesses. Now, if
you mean
his strengths, cool, but he still has the same weaknesses, so he will still have the same flaws in the playoffs because teams will defend him the way they know that has been 100%. Proven to work in the previous years. That's
okay. And I see what disconnect is. I see what
the
same thing that Gilbert Arenas said. That's what we're saying right now, and everybody was on his ass. I just want to clarify.
Hey, I'm simply saying. Hey, are you guys going?
That's what we're saying.
Are you guys going to cook Jimmy? Are you guys going to cook Jimmy for going 0-2 in the finals?
No,
Mars, I'm waiting for you.
He's not. He's not.
What?
Okay.
I'm saying the same thing that Gilbert said last year about Giannis. That's what you're saying.
About how Giannis hasn't improved.
Right. So you guys are you guys going to cook Jimmy for going 0-2?
Yes. Yep. I know I'm not gonna cook Jimmy for going 0-2. No.
Okay, how about you, Dub? You gonna cook Jimmy for going 0-2? Okay, he ain't talking.
Cooking for going 0-2 for what?
No.
0-2 in the finals. No. Okay.
No. Who cooked
He got
Jason
that
Kidd
like
for
he got
going?
that blue. He got like
Who
that.
cooked Jason Kidd? Who cooked Jason Kidd for going 0-2?
Oh, he got like that Blue Mountain. He got like that Blue Mountain State thing going where he's like he's not the backup quarterback, but he get like that backup quarterback treatment. You know what I'm saying? Get the best of both worlds.
No, Mike. It's just logical. People don't judge players off their finals record. That's why.
I agree with that. I just wanted to make sure everybody was consistent with it.
Tesla low? Do we have Tesla low?
Let me just ask Mars. I'm about to step off. Let me ask Mars this question real quick. Mars, what can Eric Spoelstra do? And this is for the whole panel. What can Eric Spoelstra do to finish a top 5 coach of all time? What can he do to become the top 5 coach?
He's already a top 5 coach
of all time.
He's going to be 2-4. Hey, he's going to be 2-4 in the finals. How could he be?
He has an argument to be top 5 right now.
Yes. No, he's going to be 2-4 in the finals, though, guys.
Yeah, hold on. We actually speak intelligently about basketball. We don't.
Hold on, go.
Final record.
So low. The reason why I said because the obvious 4, there's nobody coming out of this 4.
That's legend.
Obviously, I'm being sarcastic.
Yo, what's good, man? What's good, man? We're both on our phones right now. What's good with you, bro? How you feeling, man?
You're not gonna let Serdy say his top 4 coaches.
Yeah, let's start the talk, man.
Yeah, there's Pop, there's Phil, there's Red Auerbach, and there's Pat. Those are the 4 that's not going nowhere, right? Then that 5th spot, you got Larry Brown, you got Lenny Wilkins. So that's why I'm saying, what can he do?
I think he has an argument right now to be in that 5th spot. I think what he can do to secure it is keep coaching at this level for more years. If he just
if he goes like 2-10 in the finals, or let's say he go like 2-8.
Bro, cut that out, bro.
Obviously, I'm being sarcastic, man. Obviously, I'm being sarcastic.
Yeah, but he's trying to give a real answer. He's trying to give a real answer.
He made 12 finals. I mean, he might.
I'm being a narrative guy today. I want to be a narrative guy today.
Yeah, but wait till do that shit when I get off the panel.
It doesn't suit everyone.
You know what I'm saying?
But
did Vince Carter?
I think the only argument against Spo would be his longevity as a coach. I think that's the only argument. And he's been doing it for like 14 years now at this point. So even then,
he's been doing that 14 years.
Yeah, I don't know what the argument against Spo really being in that top.
That's why I say he's top 5 already.
Like, I'm taking him over Steve Kerr. I'm taking him over Don Nelson.
Are you taking him over? You taking him over? Are you taking him over Larry?
Yes.
You taking him over Larry Brown?
Yes.
Yes, I'm taking him over Larry Brown. Yes.
And Lenny?
Yeah,
even if they got better records in the final.
Dub, you don't even know who Lenny Wilkins was coaching.
The Supersonics.
And who just found out who Jack Sigma was? He just found out who Jack Sigma was.
Now, Dub knew about Jack Sigma so we could push it.
Well, how could you put him over Kerr, though? Kerr got a winning record in the finals. How could you do that?
Yo, 30.
Your narrative talk is terrible. I'm sorry.
Yo, 30.
Straight
to the gulag.
I don't get it, man. Kerr got a winning record in the finals.
I just came up here to like there's so many niggas that you can just name that are 26 and younger who peaked. Like I don't like that's there's an endless name of people, bro. Like an endless.
Vince Carter, Ray Allen,
Tracy McGrady.
Yeah, the list kind of goes on.
There's
John Wall for Dub. John Wall.
yeah.
There's a lot of names. But I just came here to say that 30's a casual, so you know how that goes.
Oh damn! Shout out to 30, man. Shout out to 30, man.
I'm about to go get my toes done, man. So I'm gonna kill you.
Oh, nasty!
Oh, wow.
Nasty.
No judgment.
Gotta get the toes done, you know.
A little bit.
A haircut too. A haircut comes with the pedicure.
I got a question.
How you gonna get a pedicure before a haircut? That's wild.
That's crazy.
That is a little.
You're going backwards. I got a question for you guys. Who do you guys think is gonna perform the worst in the finals?
What do you mean?
Or okay, who do you think is going to have a letdown? Like that people like you know what I mean? Like who you think is going to is going to be inconsistent throughout the play?
You want my real answer?
Jamal Murray.
Jamal Murray.
My real answer. Bam.
But what do you expect? I don't expect much, so that's why he's not going to disappoint.
Thank you, Mars. But everyone's gonna see the inconsistencies, and they're gonna be, oh my god, look at this guy.
Boy, he lined you up for that. I know he was gonna do your that was nasty.
Hey, one thing we gotta stop doing though is we gotta stop talking about the Heat like they this undrafted blah 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 team, man. The role players are playing at a phenomenal level. So anyone that brings up that narrative from now on just needs to knock it off.
Now all those guys are earning their contracts. Max Strus, Caleb Martin. Like they are Gabe Vincent, these guys are earning their contracts. Like,
I mean, this is an example of of a team that don't got all NBA players, blah blah blah, but are performing at an extremely high level despite not being on any of those lists.
Continuity,
so I'm just saying
continuity, like believing in your in your. But the thing about that's why we got to give Spo a lot of credit, like going through the X's and O's, but then also giving the free reign to certain players and letting them believe in themselves. You know what I mean? Like that counts.
But this is why
this is why the NBA where Gabe Vincent would be allowed to shot create.
Moving like Gabe Lillard right here, boy.
This is why when we when we look in the past, when we like to look at players on this list, players on that list, that's really not the all and be all, because you can make that list but be playing worse than the player that didn't make that list in the playoffs. So I'm just saying, it's a perfect example of players that you want to think would be doing anything, but they're balling. That's all I gotta say with that.
And then the other question I have for you guys is, do you guys, what do you think would be the best game plan for Spo to neutralize the Nuggets or try to make it tough for the Nuggets? Because I'm just hearing, nobody
good luck.
Nobody can do nothing with the Nuggets, blah blah. So I'm just curious about, if you guys were in Eric Spo's shoes, what would you guys do? Like,
I would say good luck.
I'm not exposed to.
You put size on Jamal Murray.
They ain't got too much size though.
They do.
So what I mean is Gabe Vincent and Max Strus. No, you do not guard them. It's Jimmy Butler and Caleb Martin. They are the matchup. Those two are the ones you put on here. You every screen you force him towards the sideline. You don't allow him to go middle. Everything's towards the sideline with length on the ball. You make those passes to Jokic difficult, and then you have to rotate behind the play and stuff. And then Jokic will probably be playing out the short row if that pass works, and then you're cooked. But you have to try and make that pass extremely difficult to be made. You try and limit Jamal Murray as a scorer by doing those things. You don't give him the open looks. You don't try and take away Jokic. You try and take away Jamal Murray, because taking away Jokic is going to fail. But if you can try and take away Jamal Murray, you might have a chance. And that zone is not going to work. Abandon the zone. Abandon it. It's not going to work. But that's the idea.
Don't you think, Mars? Don't you think Denver's just a lot bigger than the Heat though? They're gonna have problems with their size.
Yeah, the issue I have is putting length on Jamal Murray means you have Gabe Vincent or Michael Porter Jr.
Right.
That's the issue I have. Or you have Max Strus and Aaron Gordon.
And they don't have extra bodies they can really throw at Jokic either.
That's the issue. The issue I have with Miami is a lack of size, which is why I think they're going to end up switching a lot.
Right.
Because I think what they're going to try and do is just make it so that they never really have to double anyone and leave those options. But them switching, what it's going to do is leave these mismatches in terms of size.
Right. Yeah, so I mean, the starting
I don't know the matchups that Miami's going to run. Right. Like, obviously, Spo is a greater basketball man than me. I'm just giving my idea. Maybe he tries what I said game one and they get obliterated, then I'll be like, okay, I was wrong. So who knows? But I don't know.
Yeah, like that. The starting five for the Nuggets is they're huge, bro. They're fucking huge, and like I just don't know who you're gonna throw at Jokic, man. I mean, Bam might get worn out, and then after Bam, I mean, you got what, Kevin Love, like
UD.
So
I mean,
I think honestly, you could throw for the Michael Porter Jr. problem. I would throw Highsmith. He showed that he was able to have some defensive, capabilities against Jason Tatum. Obviously, Michael Porter Jr. is nowhere on the skill level. All he really does is just shoot. He might be able to get some shots off, but I think Highsmith.
Man, they're gonna be shooting over the top of these guys, bro.
But I think Highsmith is not Austin Reeves. I think he has.
I think rebounding is gonna kill Miami in this series.
So that's where the issue is. So I think I would do the opposite, and I know this might be a crazy take, but what I would do is I would have Bam on Aaron Gordon, just to neutralize. Hear me out, and I will go with, because here's the thing: Jokic is going to get his buckets regardless. So the point of putting your best defender on him isn't really it's pointless at this point, because he's going to cook regardless, right? So you have Cody Zeller, you have Kevin Love, you have these other bodies that can be on Jokic, and you have to have Bam clean up the glass, because that's where they're really going to get killed on. The glass, Aaron Gordon being high energy guy on the glass, Michael Porter Jr. crashing out, Bruce Brown crashing out. So you need to have Bam to be a free body and not to be trying to contest Jokic, because regardless, we already know Jokic is going to shoot over him, post him up. It's going to be dirty for him. So putting Bam on Jokic, you could do it in certain occasions, but not all the way. Not to have it where go ahead, bro.
So I want to make sure so you said Bam on Gordon so that Bam could do like rebounds and responsibilities, right?
Right.
But with Cody Zeller or Kevin Love on Jokic, what rebounds will there be? He will not miss. So what rebounds are there?
So that's my thing. So all right, so I'll give you my.
Jokic's gonna have 20 rebounds in the quarter, bro.
Like he's not gonna miss guarded by Kevin Love. Like Kevin Love is not gonna make it miss.
Here's my thing. So to me, this is how I look at it. Jokic, everybody understands this. Jokic's best asset and his importance to the team is the passing. That's what gets the rest of the offense flowing. And even with him, in my opinion, I think his momentum is built off passing over scoring. Now,
well, he can do it all, dog.
No. Hear me out. Just hear what I'm saying. I'm talking about game plan wise. I understand. Like, let me predicate this first. I know that Jokic can score. I know that Jokic can give them.
Yeah, more be hitting one-legged Dirk Nowitzki three.
Okay, we're stating the obvious. The point is to neutralize his greatest asset, and his greatest asset is his passing. That's what makes the offense go with everybody else. KCP is benefits with Jokic passing. Now with Jokic scoring, MPJ benefits with Jokic passing. Now with Jokic scoring. So you want to funnel him as a scorer, and you live with the results, and not to force double teams. And you have to neutralize the passing lanes, neutralize the jump shooting, so that way they can be inconsistent. And then when Mike Malone goes into that 4-guard lineup with Jamal Murray, and it's just nothing going on, then you can implement some zone action. That's what you would do. And then within that zone, you allow Jamal Murray. Now you break that zone, and you show us if you can make out of that zone. So that's where I would do a certain schematic things. Now, I'm not saying that it's going to work, but I'm going to neutralize I'm going to try to put my hand on my defensive pressure on everybody else. And if Jokic gives me 50, it is what it is. You're going to get killed by Jokic anyway. But if he gives you 50 and everybody else is shooting bad, at least you can, with Miami shooting, you can try your luck. That's all I'm saying. Because Jokic can't score 100 points by himself.
But I think you do put if you were to play Cody Zeller in this series, because he is a bigger body, I still don't think that he's the primary on Jokic. Because if you think, I think you still put Bam on Jokic because of the dribble handoffs that they do and pick and rolls that you do with Jamal Murray. I think one thing you could do is put Jimmy on Jamal, and then Bam on Jokic. So you're going to switch that action anyway, right? And so then you end up with Bam. I would, because you end up with Bam on Murray, which one of the best things about Bam is that he can guard on the perimeter. This versatility, and then I think if you do play Cody Zeller, that's who you're putting on Aaron Gordon. And not Bam on Aaron Gordon to let him run, because Bam's on-ball defense is literally one of his strengths. I don't think roaming in particular is like his strength on defense. I think it's his versatility to guard.
Who should the Nuggets put on Jimmy?
Aaron Gordon.
Yeah, I was gonna say that.
But Aaron Gordon to me is too slow. Aaron Gordon is too slow for Jimmy, and on top of that, too, I think Aaron Gordon is not disciplined enough. I think he's gonna bite for those head fakes. That's the thing about it.
That's the thing. Right. Michael Malone needs to be telling Aaron Gordon, do not jump on the pump fake. He is not going to go up.
Just have a film session by himself.
Yes, do not jump. That's the game plan. Do not jump.
Easier said than done, though, bro.
I mean, it's easier said than done, because sometimes you be seeing and you're like, okay, he's finally gonna go up now, and then it's one more pump fake.
Because in game 7, he didn't even use his pump fake. He just went up. So it's like,
I think you live with that. I'm not gonna lie. I think Denver will live with that. Him not doing his ridiculous 7 pump fakes.
Oh yeah.
Well, I've never understood jumping on jump shots anyways. When I play ball, like when I play pickup ball, I mean, and people jump in the air to try to get a shot, man, I just don't understand it. I think you should just stand your ground, keep your hands up. But That's just me.
Yeah, because you're not guarding NBA caliber shooters.
Right.
Well,
And
yeah,
you say
man.
that to
No
somebody
shit,
who
man.
you
know what I'm saying? I know that. I know that, dog.
Shooter, I mean, you're not gonna
go
put
like
them
this
off.
or Steph Curry. You see what happens.
You know what I'm saying? But bro, like I get that, bro. But when you jump, I mean, you're either gonna get a foul call or you're gonna. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like 9 times out of 10, you're gonna get that foul call.
What I've never
gotta
understood
jump
is
properly.
when
You gotta
I've
jump
never
properly.
understood jumping when you sprint to close out. Like
That's
time
what
that
I mean.
happens,
That's what I mean.
They
Oh,
never
yeah,
shoot.
okay.
They always just let you fly by. In that situation,
Right.
just sprint and then stop. That's what
I'm talking about, bro. Like that, it's every game I see that shit. I'm like, bro, come on, man.
But when you're guarding someone, like especially in the mid range, like when you're guarding Kobe, and he does his.
Oh, I agree with that.
You're gonna jump.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that.
Dwayne Wade.
I agree with that.
Yeah, like you're going to a certain extent.
Like it's really
No, I agree with that.
No, not tourism.
Hey, Austin Reeves, you know he good at that too.
Not DeRozan.
But yeah, Kobe, D Wade, those type of guys. Yeah, you're gonna jump.
Yeah, if you right in front of him, I get it. But I'm talking about more like when when you're trying to recover, man. You know, I see these motherfuckers just jumping like 3 yards in the air trying to. I'm like, come on, man.
No, I agree. I think the best way to guard Jimmy is number one, you play him, you shade him, not completely let him just go, but you shade him to his left hand. When you do that, when you cut him off, you don't jump on pump fakes, and you make him make shots over the top. Right. I do think he also likes to turn back over his left shoulder. To get back to his right hand, so you play him to the left, shade him left, and if he's making tough shots over the top, then that's just something you have to live with. But you don't want to be jumping all in the air, letting them get to the free throw line 10, 12, 15 times, because then that puts you in foul trouble, and that leads to an abundance of things. So I don't think Jimmy Butler is just this money. He's just going to hit a 15 to 18 footer consistently over the top.
You know what though? He hits it when he has to. I'll say that.
Yeah, he made like 3 threes yesterday. I was like,
yeah,
he made 3 threes. Yeah,
one fading in the corner. I'm like,
I was like, what's going on, bro?
He hits him when he hits him when he has to hit him, bro. You know, that's the crazy thing.
A question I do ask: do you think that Jimmy can? Let me not say this. Let me say the 3 guys that I think is going to be the highest rim pressure guys on Miami.
I got Nuggets in 4.
Do you think that Caleb, Jimmy, and Gabe Vincent can provide enough rim pressure to move the defense, the Nuggets defense, to create shooting, or you think they're just going to live with single coverage?
Gabe Vincent
on Jimmy?
If just
Vincent, in general, Gabe, because these guys could get a lot of rim pressure. So Caleb Martin, Jimmy Butler, and Gabe.
I don't think it's going to be as easy.
I don't think they'll collapse in Denver's defense. No, I don't think they're going to collapse Denver's defense.
They got a lot of length, bro. They got a lot of length on that.
I think Denver are going to stay home and force Miami to finish over the top. I think that's
well, because a lot of people been saying with the Denver, they're doing they stop that drop coverage nonsense, and what they do is they actually make Jokic high hedge. Show high, and then they pre-rotate, and then they go through their rotations, and eventually, So that's
I will say this though,
because they change their defensive scheme.
Playmaker.
I will say this though, the Lakers did get into the paint pretty easy.
I will say that
the Lakers did eat up that paint.
That's why, but D'Lo just couldn't make anything. That's why I'm curious.
Well, LeBron, Austin Reeves, everybody was getting in that paint in that series.
Because
Miami
LeBron did run that pick and roll. And bringing Jokic into it, we were getting great looks out of that action. It's a shame that D'Lo is D'Lo.
D'Lo's D'Lo.
You know, playoff D'Lo is a real thing, and it is what it is. And I hope we don't bring him back.
No, good. Hey, Lakers winning the tip next year, man. I ain't even worried about it.
Don't disrespect D'Lo. Context. I'm gonna move you on because you've been up for longer than games.
Salute, fellas. Dub. Salute, man. Salute. Real talk. Salute, Mars.
Hey, Dub, you gonna get that new college football game when it come out, Doc?
I'm thinking about it. We'll see.
You thinking about it, man? You don't miss NCAA 14, bro?
I don't like playing games, bro. But I'm thinking about recording.
What are you doing right now, Dub?
Because I'm bored.
Wow, we're boring you. Okay, thanks.
Hey, man, get you a little piece, man.
Rumor has the NBA Live 24 is coming out this year. Rumor has it.
Yeah.
Hey, man, why don't you get you a little piece, Dub, before, man? You know what I'm saying?
NBA Live's better than 2K, man.
What?
Okay. Back in 07, 06. Hey.
Yeah, prior to like 2K11. That's when 2K11. I mean,
I'm a Madden guy, bro. I like Madden.
no one cares. Let me read these super chats.
Bam, Savage Mars over here.
What pieces do the Lakers need to compete next year?
They need a point guard that's not named
That
D'Lo.
was a very sarcastic super chat.
Yep, I'm gonna summarize that. Yeah, the Lakers they need Jesus. That's who they need.
No, they good, bro. They good, man. They need a full camp and in the regular season to gel and a point guard that's not named D'Lo, and we good.
Don't just
We
like,
need
D'Lo is
AD
good
and
enough.
Bron
He's
to
the
be able to hit jump shots.
Okay, so you need.
No, we good, bro. They win in the chip next year, bro. I ain't even worried about it. I ain't even worried. This is a bridge here.
Valley said how good you guys
Gotta mute him, bro.
Yeah, be quite good, James. How good do you guys think Wizards Jordan was?
I think that Wizards Jordan shows that the people who try to be like, oh, Michael Jordan played in the 90s, you had a 38-year-old Michael Jordan come back into the league after like 3 years of not playing and still giving boys 20 with the zones, with the lack of spacing, and still did his thing. That's more than enough evidence for me to be like, you know what? In his prime, in his day and age, if he was doing that at the age of 38, there's no reason I could doubt that he could be able to sustain that level of greatness in the 2000s and then onward.
I think Michael Jordan.
Damn, man! Fix that mic.
Who was that? That's okay.
Yeah, good,
yeah, I think Michael Jordan at 38 in this era with more spacing, he's at least. I think he's DeMar DeRozan right now.
I think he's better.
Yeah, right. And I'm saying he's that caliber. I think MJ at 38 is like 25, 26 a game in this era right now.
I think MJ right now is DeMar DeRozan.
What?
MJ today is better than DeMar DeRozan. That's what I believe.
Hey,
you give MJ the off season, tell him to get in basketball shape. Right now, put him on the Bulls. He's better than DeMar DeRozan. That's what I believe.
I saw a take that it was a video with Lowe and Ticket that Ticket definitely has aged gracefully, and Lowe that shit has aged tragically as far as Drew Holiday being able to guard Michael Jordan. This nigga couldn't guard Jimmy Butler. Yeah, MJ would have killed Drew. That's a fact. That MJ would have killed Drew Holiday in his prime. That we've seen it now.
You need a guy with more size on him to guard MJ. So if you ain't got a guy that at least is 6'5", 6'6", and have some like strength.
GP was like 6'3".
Yeah, but GP, he has some long ass arms.
I don't know what his wingspan was, so I can't confirm that.
Yeah, I don't know either.
But I'll take your word. Let me read these last few super chats. Donovan Samuels, what letter grade would you guys give Jimmy and Bam for their performance in the Eastern Conference Finals? I'd give Jimmy a B+, and I'd give Bam a B-, C+.
You gave Jimmy an A?
I said B+. What?
Oh, my bad. I'm playing the game. Yeah, I'll give Jimmy a B.
And Bam?
He could get a B-, C+.
And you give Caleb Martin?
An A.
Nice.
Caleb Martin was A+. I think Jimmy was A-. I think Bam was a D+.
Oof, damn.
D+ so OD.
Shout out to Bam Adebayo, man. D+. Damn.
And this is why I say y'all just praise one side of the ball, bro. I swear. His offense.
He wasn't that great on defense. Like he wasn't. I'm sorry.
You're lying.
He wasn't terrible on defense. I think he was good, but it's not like he was just providing.
Yeah, it's not like he was like
level defense. Yeah, I don't think he was doing that. Yeah. But I think he was a good defender. That's why I gave him a B-, B-, C+.
Why do y'all think he was out on the court so much, bro?
Because he's the second best player on the team.
No, because without him, we can't run that defense. You seen what happened as soon as he got out, right?
Okay.
So he's so him just being there, bro, changes the game for us, bro. That freedom of having a guy that could switch like that, guard up on the perimeter, and be able to bang down low, bro. It's something that you can't even explain, bro. That impact is crazy.
I agree. That's why I gave him a B-. I don't agree with the D+, but I also don't.
Okay, I'll give him a solid C.
Yay, that's
I'll
average.
live with a C.
I'll compromise. I'll compromise.
AB Mars, who won more championships with the most injury-prone player, Nurse or Doc? # narrative talk. You gotta go with Nick Nurse, right? With Kawhi. I mean, KG got injured. Once KG started getting injured, Doc couldn't win. So I mean, you gotta go with Nick Nurse and Kawhi Leonard. That just shows that he's another coach better than Doc Rivers. That fraud. Shout out to Doc Rivers. Kendrick, what does Jimmy Butler's playoff run say about competition in the East? Is the East still the least? Does Jimmy's runs decrease the value of bronze runs, or is Jimmy just him and a top 5 player? The East is better than it was when LeBron James was in it, and Jimmy is him, and he's not a top 5 player. There you go.
Like, that's Correct. The thing that's getting me so mad, real talk, why I keep bringing it up. The fact that an 8th seed is going through the East, that's why they're questioning the validity of how good this Eastern Conference really was. While if the Bucks or if the Boston Celtics made it to the finals, they wouldn't question it. I promise you. And it's or
Philly. Let's not forget Philly.
Or Philly. But the fact that it's none of the teams that nobody picked, now to be like, oh yeah, so I guess the teams weren't that good since none of the teams that I picked was going to the finals because an 8th seed is going to the finals. It's just it's stupid. Because the whole season long, we all said the East was better.
Dub, I will say this though. I do think number one, we all season, me and you knew that Milwaukee were frauds. We did constant episodes on that on Open Gym. I've also never believed in James Harden and Joel Embiid as playoff performers. Just never will. And that turned out to be true. So the one great team we were actually banking on were the Celtics.
But guess what? In the West, right? In the Bucks, right? They better than the Suns?
Who?
The Bucks. They're better than the Suns?
Oh, yeah.
They're better
than the Suns. But I don't think they're better than the Lakers.
So the Lakers is the only one where I'll give credit, but they're better than the Suns. They're better than every other team besides the Nuggets, and even that series will actually be a very good series. So it's like that team is a title contender in the West. Boston Celtics is a title contender in the West. Even Philly is a title contender.
Is this the real Chill Town?
It's the real Chill Town. I had to bring in the big guns because Dub doesn't know ball, so I had to bring in the real big guns.
No, but questioning the East as if it's trash is just weird, bro.
It's not trash, but I also don't think it's like I don't know if it was like the juggernaut people were trying to say it is.
Yes, it was.
The East was very strong.
It was substantially better this year than it's ever been. Substantially better.
Yeah,
I agree. I think this is the best the East has been since
2019.
Nah, we can go back further than that.
We're looking at to be genuine, I think since the Knicks and Pacers and Bulls.
That's what I was going to say, Miles. I was going to say
the late 90s.
I was going to say since the 90s. This is the best the East has been since the 90s.
I agree.
And with that being said, to say that Jimmy Butler, to minimize the East, well, what you're doing is you're minimizing Jimmy Butler. And why are we doing that? When we're talking about an all-league performer, we're talking about an all-league defender. And we are talking about a Miami Heat team that was the number 1 seed last year. The fact that they basically backed into the playoffs, and not only did they back into the playoffs, they survived each of the rounds, and the way that they won, we can't diminish who Jimmy Butler is. I think one of the major reasons why we do that is simply because Jimmy isn't flash. He's not a lot of extracurricular. He's not blowing you away with his athleticism. He ain't super nice with the pill. He just gets it done. And because he does that, people minimize his game. I'm not a huge Jimmy Butler fan, but the results are clear, B.
Who's the best?
Where do you have him
comparison for
ranked?
Jimmy
Where do you
Butler?
have him ranked? Is he top 5 for you?
He was a top 10 player before the season started, and he's still a top 10 player. In my
Okay,
opinion.
yeah, I've had him top 10, but I think one thing which I'm glad now, like Chill is up here to talk about this, because I was going to say this like about Jaylen Brown and players of this era. I know he's also a JT fan like I am. I think one thing that is that's been compromised with this new era of basketball is that players think that skill, or people in general think that skill is, putting the ball on the floor, when we've had greats like Melo and Kobe and MJ, where they can get open in a phone booth, which that in itself is, I don't think people realize like how great that, to get open off no dribbles.
Shout
Like
out to
I think
Carmelo
Jaylen,
Anthony. Yep.
I think Jaylen Brown, I think like we know he can't dribble, right? But why not learn then, like try to be a great player out of triple threat?
I think triple threat's just dying in the NBA in general.
It
like,
is,
no
and
one's
I don't think that should be going away. Like everybody's not going to be a bing 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 bing. I'm creating off 3, 4, 5 dribbles. Like everybody's not going to be like, that's not how you're going to get buckets consistently. But a player like Melo and stuff like that.
Mars, I was thinking about you last night watching the game, because Mars, can that handle from Jaylen Brown be any weaker?
I've been saying as long as I've been on this show, I've been saying Jaylen Brown's handle is terrible, and then it seemed to get worse last night. I don't know what happens.
It just looks like it's just out of nowhere. Like he doesn't have any direction. He's just handling it. He's not going anywhere with it. He just expects the ball to be somewhere else. He looks like a dude that just rocks. He don't look like a dude who ever worked on his handle.
Yeah, it looks like what I see from Jaylen Brown is someone who added moves to his bag, but never figured out how to actually keep the ball close to him. So he's added tween cross or tween behind the back, but he can't keep control of the ball. So he's doing all these combos, but the ball security is nowhere to be found. And like, you need to be able to control the ball to do all these moves.
Yes.
Like he's adding moves, but he can't keep control of the ball to do moves. So what's the point of having them? That's the issue I seem to have with him. Like Jimmy Butler doesn't need to do all these moves, but he's going to make sure he has the ball under control and get to his spots. Jaylen Brown is the total opposite, has a bunch of moves, but can't go anywhere. And I think that's just terrible in my opinion.
Like Melo didn't have no great like dribble package, but
he got where he needed to go, and then
he just got where he needed to be, and you rise up and you shoot the basketball. Like,
and it wasn't that he got where he needed to go. He didn't need a lot of stuff to do it.
Exactly.
It wasn't a lot of extracurricular with Carmelo Anthony. It was 2 dribbles pull up. It was 1 dribble shot fake up. With Jaylen Brown, that handle looks so amateur. Of all the things about his game, when I watch it, that handle is the most glaring. It looks amateur. It does not look professional. It doesn't.
Yeah, it's terrible. I don't know any star in the league, like any perimeter player, who has a worse handle than Jaylen Brown. Maybe
as a star, like when you're talking about the better,
maybe someone can think of one,
like Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell. I'm thinking about the better perimeter players in the game.
Shea, like then you got like the point
Jason
guard, like
Tatum, Kevin Durant,
KD,
John Morant, Damian Lillard, Trae Young. When you talk about the better perimeter players in the game, and I think about Jaylen Brown's handle, it looks amateur to me. It doesn't look average. It doesn't even look below average. It looks amateur because the way he turns the ball over, he looks like he's ahead of himself. And I'm thinking to myself, when I'm working on my handle and I'm working on my one-on-one game, my dribble package with my one-on-one game can't get ahead of me. And I already have to look at I already have to scan the defense with whatever it is that I'm trying to do. And Jaylen Brown looks like he's ahead of himself when he's handling the ball. Like he's throwing the ball between his legs and he's already to the basket mentally. And he's going without the basketball. I'm thinking to myself, my man, slow yourself down. And he can't do that. That handle it's very amateur, Mars. More than anything, it is.
I've never seen someone leave the ball behind as much as
that's what I'm talking about.
It's ridiculous.
Maybe Russ, maybe.
No.
Russ has bad hands. Like he can't catch the ball for whatever reason. But even him, like prime Russell Westbrook had a handle. Like he could get where he needed to go. Jaylen Brown can't get where he needs to go. Like he's trying to go places and leaving the ball behind. Like that doesn't make sense. I've never seen someone do it as much as he does.
And remember,
a lot of his turnovers too are like just thrown out of bounds, not just like off his like a lot of it just like bad passes.
And for someone who like coming into the draft, he was seen as just very smart. Maybe not basketball smart, but like he was just very smart. But he plays basketball very dumb. Like he's way too sped up. Like normally you hear pros say the game slowed down for me like after a few years. The game has not slowed down for Jaylen Brown. It's still just a blur. And I think that's the biggest issue for him.
And he's in year 7 too, by the way, Mars.
Yeah,
Where he's 7 now.
But apparently he's supposed to get better at his handle.
I think this is who he is. I think this is who he is.
Yeah.
I don't expect him to become Paul George. I don't expect that.
Yeah,
I think this is what he is.
Yeah.
I never like 6'6" and up players just relying on pounding the ball 4 or 5 times to get to like, bro, you're big enough to where you should be able to get the ball in a triple threat position and with efficient moves and using 1, 2, 3 dribbles, you should be able to get whatever kind of shot you're looking for. You shouldn't even be using combos like that to a certain extent. Like, bro, just go get a bucket.
Let me get these super chats off. Someone's got echo.
Who echoing? Yeah.
Why we
Chill,
keep talking
Chill,
about
I actually think it's you with the echo, Chill. So I don't know what happened. That what?
I said I just don't get. We spent so much time talking about this dude's handles, bro. It's like we know who this guy is, man. It is what it is.
I got a question though. Where do y'all rank Jaylen Brown in the league? Is he like top 25 or is he higher or lower? Where y'all rank him in the league?
I'd comfortably say he's top 30. I don't have a list. Top 30 sounds about right. If it comes to and I actually made the list and he ends up at like 32, then I guess. But I think he's top 30. But I've been saying that for a long time. I mean, Dub can vouch for me. I've been saying for a very long time he's like not top 20 or close to it. Have guys like Shea over him, and now all of a sudden everyone seems to agree with that. But he's above like Julius Randle. I'll say that he's above Julius Randle and like DeMar DeRozan.
Zion?
You think he's for sure better than DeMar DeRozan?
Yeah, easily.
Okay, if you're talking about playoff transaction, okay, I got you.
Is he better than Zion?
I'd rather have Jaylen Brown because Zion is never available. But if you guaranteed me Zion's health, I think Zion's better than him.
Because I remember you were tripping on Zion, bro. Like
yes. I was wrong.
That was an answer. That was a nasty phase, Mars.
We move and prosper. I've never claimed to be right about everything. I was wrong about Zion. To K White, why whenever Context joins does he talk for like 15 minutes straight? You have to ask him, man. I don't know.
You gotta get his takeoff, bro.
He got a holder.
Better Heat all time, Bron or Jimmy? He said it's Bron. I say if Jimmy wins this ring, I think Miami would love Jimmy more than
facts.
They would love him more for sure.
But LeBron is the best player to ever play for the Heat. So
if we're talking about better, it's always gonna be Braun. But I'm not gonna lie, bro. I think Jimmy's more loved now by Miami than LeBron.
I don't know.
Loved by Miami.
Yeah, he still got them. He still was the best player on 2 championship teams, and
but it's like
also got blown out by a record margin in the finals.
Yeah.
And had
if they would have won in 11, he would have been the best player, at least in the finals, at least.
Yeah, that's what
maybe. I don't know.
Like there's certain players just they're light. Like, oh, thanks for winning us the championship. But does Toronto really love Kawhi?
They let him eat for free.
Toronto loves Kawhi. He got them their only championship in their history.
Yeah, they definitely love Kawhi.
But like, how much does Jimmy Butler like? Obviously, we all know he's not Dwayne Wade, but does he go down as the second greatest Miami Heat with a championship this year?
Yeah.
I think it's a toss-up between him and Bron. Yeah,
I don't hate Bron that much. So I'll still put Bron second.
Would be probably
He's the underdog.
It'd be more
win-win.
impressive than any Braun
If you
title
lose, you want
in Miami
here
for sure.
anyway.
I ain't gonna lie. I don't think that's
You guys
debatable.
remember when LeBron James on that Miami Heat team? Number one, they won 28 straight games. Not only did they win 28 straight games, he's the only league MVP in the history of that organization. And he won it in back-to-back years. In back-to-back seasons, he won the league MVP. He finished second in Defensive Player of the Year on the Miami Heat. It's not a toss-up between those two. No, it's not close.
I mean,
you're saying like as far as a player.
This year,
I think
Yeah,
everyone
but as a
agrees.
player,
I think
yeah.
everyone agrees. LeBron James in Miami is a 200 times better player than Jimmy
Right.
Butler. I think the argument we're making is who will Miami Heat fans hold in higher regards in terms of Heat history. I think they'd appreciate this one ring from Jimmy Butler more than the 2 rings that Super Team won. The same reason I think guys like Klay Thompson, maybe even Iguodala, Draymond Green are held higher by Warriors fans than Kevin Durant, in my opinion. That's the argument I'm making.
Yeah.
I think what Jimmy's done just means more to them.
You know what's crazy about Heat LeBron? He almost won.
Heat player.
Not Heat LeBron. Like from 2010 to 2014, he almost won or 09. He almost won 5 straight MVPs. If it wasn't for Derrick Rose.
What do you mean?
You know what's crazy?
He won it 4 times in 5 years, and he should have won it.
He could have won 5 straight though.
Should he have won it in 2011? Should he?
I actually think
the better player was Braun, but I don't hate to give it to D-Rose. Yeah, you can give the D-Rose that year.
MVP narrative was.
Yeah, the narrative for D-Rose was strong.
Yeah.
The narrative against
better
LeBron.
record.
I think the narrative against LeBron was stronger than the narrative for D-Rose. I think just because of the decision, I think LeBron had to do some otherworldly stuff to win the MVP.
Yeah, that was like his first year on the Super Team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So he
played more
just
into
wasn't
the villain role.
I thought that I thought Dwight Howard was going to win it that year, to be honest with you. With everything that he was doing in 2010, 2011, with that, I think he won the Defensive Player of the Year that year, and I think he was averaging 22 and 10 or 22 and 12, some nonsense like that. He was and I think Orlando had the best defense in the league. I thought he was going to win the league MVP that year. I did.
Should be top 75.
I mean, well, of course, Dwight should have been top 75. I don't know what happened there. They just started hating.
They said his
But it's like the reputation. They don't like it.
Yeah, because after he left, I think after playing with Kobe and then that whole him and Kobe not gelling, then he went to.
But that's not an explanation for why someone isn't top 75. Oh, hello, Dub.
You're terrible.
I don't think
Dub, I don't keep an eye on the backstage. I don't do that.
Listen.
Yeah, I've been waiting.
I believe y'all to it, brother.
Hours.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we appreciate you coming
bro.
up, man. We
All right,
appreciate it.
town.
Let me read this last super chat from Kendrick Starr. If the Nuggets sweep the Heat, does that diminish the East? It seems like you're doing a lot of work to try and diminish the East. No, I think that would. I think if Nuggets sweep the Heat, that would just show that the Nuggets were the strongest team in the playoffs this year, which I mean makes sense.
Shouldn't the A seed being a finals team strain the East? Because if a lower seed can make the finals, shouldn't that make the East better? Since the lower seed.
I mean, when you look at the context of the Heat making it, I mean, they beat the injured Bucks in round 1. They played Julius Randle in round 2. So, and then round 3 they beat Boston, which is a fair fight. They beat them fair and square. But I mean, you can look at they were an 8 seeds, but them making it, a lot of things had to go their way, which is how it works all the time in the playoffs. But I think the East was just a very strong conference, and Miami benefited from a few things going their way. But but them being an 8 seed, aside, the Lakers were a 7 seed, but this wasn't the team that was really a 7 seed. If they had this team the whole time, they wouldn't have been a 7 seed. I think Miami were an 8 seed because a lot of things just went wrong during the regular season. I think they were a better team than an 8 seed would suggest. I think they were a 5th or 6th seed, but stuff happens. So
kind of crazy.
Do you think we had to go all the way back to the 90s to find to compare as far as the Eastern Conference? Because I do think the era with the Heat at the time, the Bulls, and that Pacers team was really good with Paul George and Hibbert and David West. I know the names weren't great.
No, I agree. And then you had that one year where the Knicks finally made it out the first round. I think 20.
Yeah, Melo and the Knicks, they were a solid team. The East wasn't
Yeah, I think you could.
Terrible
I
in
think
the
you.
mid-20s.
I think you can make an argument like 2011 to like 2014.
Yeah.
The East was like okay. I think they had like 4 good teams, but like the bottom half of the conference wasn't great. Like I remember Milwaukee made the playoffs one of those years, and they were like below 500. So I think what makes this East stand out is that 1 through 8, besides the Julius Randle team, is pretty strong. So I think that's what makes them stand out. But I think you could argue like 10 years ago, the East was pretty strong. Like the late 2010s was terrible. And then the early 2000s was also terrible, in my opinion.
The late 2010s?
Yeah, like 2015,
They were
2015
bad.
to 2018. The East was egregious.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah, that was.
And then the early 2000s, like 2000 to, like 99 to like 03 or 04 or 05. Yeah, the East wasn't good then either. And then you got like the late 2000s, the East wasn't really good either. It was Orlando, Cleveland, and Boston.
Yeah, it was like 3 teams. Yeah.
Other than that, yeah. So I think it's really the 90s and then like the early 2010s. That's like the only times, and now, and obviously the 80s and like before. But that's like the only times the East has really been strong. Like the 2000s to like 2015, the East was just terrible. Just so happens that LeBron James seemed to be in the East that whole time.
Is this low as capping?
Yeah, it's low as a capper, man.
Oh,
it's the low stopper. Yes, sir.
Max, the low stopper for sure, man. That's why.
Yo, Mart, I have a question. For you real quick.
Oh, damn. Am I?
Oh, yeah, and then I have to go cook Dub too. You know, Dub, it's your time.
Okay.
Where's Dub?
Dub, you may want to pause that game,
yeah,
buddy.
Dub, you might get smoked on the game and on the show, but we'll see. Yeah, what's your question?
Yeah, I was thinking about the importance of like rim pressure versus like mid-range creation, and I was thinking about like elite mid-range creators in the postseason. Just like which one actually has more value, elite mid-range creation versus elite rim pressure? Because I was thinking like if you have your best defender guarding like let's say Kobe Bryant in the mid-range, in the high post or whatever, like, and he's getting cooked, like. What truly do you do in that situation? Like, you can try and like, double, or you can try and blitz, try and get the ball off his hands, but like, that's just good offense. He passes the ball up and it's a good look for another teammate versus elite rim pressure, which I feel can get neutralized by like just teams with good roamers and good on-ball defenders. So like, I was wondering like, which one is more like, would you say is more valuable? Because to me, I think it may be elite mid-range creation.
Okay, so there's 2 ways. Well, there's more than 2 ways, but the 2 main ways I'm looking at is if you only provide one, I think I'd rather have the elite rim pressure. And the examples I would use to make that point is I would rather have Giannis than Kevin Durant in the playoffs at this point. And the reason why is because KD's inability to get to the rim, it makes it much easier to sit on his ability to shoot the mid-range. And he doesn't force defenses to really adjust to his threat to shoot because you keep him in front of you at all times. And if he's in front of you, you're not really collapsing the defense. Whereas Giannis, even him just the threat to get downhill, and then in transition when he can get downhill, that drawing all the defense towards him is so much more valuable whether or not he's scoring or he's kicking out compared to KD. But then the other way to look at it is if you have layers to your offensive attack in terms of your rim pressure versus your mid-range game, think Kawhi Leonard or a guy like LeBron James, I think in the playoffs at that point, you can make the argument which one is more valuable. For me, I'm going to favor, I'm not saying Kawhi is better than LeBron, but I'm saying if you have a multi-layered offensive attack, I think that's probably more valuable than someone who's predominantly downhill. So for me, like Kawhi Leonard's ability to play out the post, play in the mid-range, get downhill, and shoot the 3 is more valuable than someone who is predominantly just getting downhill. Now, I get why LeBron James is now a bad example of that, because now people are going to say, I think Kawhi is better than LeBron in the playoffs. I don't. So think someone else, not LeBron James. But the point is, I think if you are able to draw defenses out to you further away from the rim, and also have the ability to punish them by getting to the rim, that's more valuable than someone who can only get to the rim. But someone who can only shoot in the mid-range and not get to the rim is less valuable than someone who can only get to the rim. Does that make sense? I think that makes sense.
Yeah, but I think like in Kobe's peak, like when he was like a mid-range guard, he was still generating like really like he was his gravity was really effective even from the mid-range. So that's why like KD like even KD in his prime when he was able to get to the like
KD in his prime when he had rim pressure, he could draw defensive attention. And then obviously there was other times where he drew defensive attention, but his playmaking wasn't good enough. See, it's hard to isolate these single skills because there's so many of like how much is Giannis's rim pressure valuable if he can't pass? Because if he's collapsing the defense and he can't pass, there's not much value there. Same thing with KD's ability to shoot in the mid-range when defenses do key on him and his playmaking isn't as strong as a LeBron James or a Kobe Bryant. You're not providing as much value as Kobe Bryant was because Kobe Bryant could play make out of the defensive attention he was drawing. So it's kind of hard to isolate these single skills. But I think the ability to constantly get downhill probably provides more value consistently than someone who can kill you in the mid-range. But in like isolated circumstances, I think the mid-range is harder to take away. So it depends which. I think the rim provides more value, but it's also easier to take away, whereas the mid-range provides less value, but it's harder to take it away. So I think you can maintain your value easier with the mid-range.
Isn't the harder thing to maintain the more valuable thing?
No, because the harder doesn't exist.
The way I'm thinking about it in my head is someone's ability to get to the rim and convert or collapse the defense and create often results in either a rim attempt for like someone who's an extremely good finisher, LeBron, Giannis, or whoever, which is like 70-75% of the rim, or it yields an open three, often from the corner, which is like 37%. So that type of offense is going to be more valuable than someone who can shoot like 50% from the mid-range on command. But it's also easier to take away that value by either building a wall, strong defensive rotations, like he said with Roma's, to where you can neutralize that type of offense easier, like Boston's offense got neutralized with that drive and kick sort of game. Whereas someone with the mid-range, you shoot 50% from the mid-range, it's hard. That's going to be less valuable inherently than someone who can get to the rim consistently. But you not being able to take that away from someone means that offense is more likely to translate and maintain its efficiency in the playoffs. Whereas someone who predominantly gets downhill, they're going to see more sharp declines in their offensive game in the playoffs. Like Giannis sees more sharp declines than Kobe Bryant did. So that's the way I'm thinking about it in my head. So is it more valuable to maintain your value, or is it more valuable to have higher value that even when it decreases, you can argue it's still higher value than the person who maintained it? The thing between the two of those things, right? Because in order for somebody with that elite rim pressure, you need a constructed crew around that in order for that to make that work. So it's actually harder to build around because it's harder to find guys to just be elite spacing. Like Giannis, the main reason why he works out is because of what? He has two bigs who can also stretch the floor, and he has shooters all around. So that rim pressure isn't going to mean a damn thing because he can't even – that rim pressure doesn't mean a damn thing if you don't have other pieces on there to space the floor out. At least with the guy who's offering great mid-range shooting, that mid-range shooting could lead to easy buckets because people are overplaying that, right? So when they overplay it, you do a pump fake, they bite on the pump fake, you pass it to your man next to you, and then you cut to the basket. Now they on their toes. So, but the guy with elite mid-range is one easier to build around. It's harder to contain. And in my opinion, the guy with the elite mid-range shooting in general, I think that's the right answer. The mid-range shooting would require spacing as well, though, right?
Not really.
Not as much as rim pressure dominant.
What's been the reason why you think KD couldn't win in 2016?
Because he didn't have. No. He didn't have bad spacing. He had damn near the worst spacing that anybody could have ever had in that point in time.
So you need spacing, right?
You need spacing.
I mean, you don't need Andre Roberson.
What Real Talk said, you don't need as much spacing as a guy with rim pressure. That's just a fact. Like
I agree, you don't need as much spacing, but I also think if you're a mid-range player, you need to be a stronger playmate, like a stronger passer than someone who can get downhill. And you said it before, the driving kick is an easier pass than someone who has to create from the perimeter, right? So I think the mid-range player would need to be a stronger creator.
Which is why I
in
think
terms
Kobe's
of,
passing and
that's why.
playmaking is so slept on. Like,
But that's not. But you're.
So
you're
I think
including-
it goes other ways. Like you need different things. Like the mid-range player needs to have other skills.
You're including. But you're including other factors to the question when he just asked a simple question.
It's not a simple question though, Dub. That's the issue.
Well, he just asked a question.
No, he asked the question, but it's a nuanced conversation.
Everybody in every scenario is different. Like Kobe Bryant, for instance, right? Like when you put Kobe Bryant to that name and compare him to Giannis, yeah, I'm taking Kobe because he could create off of that mid-range, and Kobe didn't need a lot of space like that. He didn't. He could operate without that space. So everyone's different. But in the question which he's asking, he's just asking for a yes or no. I mean, even though you could say it's a bad question, sure.
No, it's not a bad question. It's a nuanced question. It's not just simple. And I don't think he was asking it for a very simple answer because I don't think he thinks it's a simple question. Do you think it's a simple question?
No.
I don't think it's a simple question, but I don't think that's really a question that, in my opinion, I don't think it should be a question because there's so many different factors that goes into that value. So it's like,
that's what I just said.
That's his point.
Yeah, but all I'm saying, I'm just trying to answer the question, Mars. If a guy, Mars. If a guy literally is asking you for elite mid range or elite rim pressure, and just that alone, I'm going with the guy with just elite mid range more than the guy.
I picked the mid range too.
I wasn't listening.
I'll take the
I picked the mid range too, and I said I think it's because it's harder to take it away. Like I think Kawhi Leonard's game translates extremely strong because you can't taking away someone's mid-range shot is so difficult because not only is it like statistically the most inefficient shot, so you don't really want to use all your resources to stop it, but mid-range jump shooting is like the only jump shot where a contest, like if you're a strong mid-range shooter, contesting mid-range jump shots doesn't really alter the shot that much when you're an elite mid-range shooter. Think Kawhi, Kobe, KD, like those type of guys, the defense doesn't really alter the shot. So if you can get to where you're comfortable on the floor, you're not really going to send multiple resources at them because that shot is so automatic in a way that it doesn't really benefit you to send extra resources to stop it. Whereas the rim, every team is taught to protect the rim. So you're going to collapse regardless. So it causes extra resources, which is why I think the mid-range is more translatable to the playoffs because you don't put as much towards stopping it, which is what makes it so hard to contain.
To bring it back to the KD and Giannis thing, you were being nasty because you know damn well that everybody in basketball needs spacing. It's about what you need more of. So Giannis, in 2016, that spacing was putrid, terrible. Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jimmy Butler, LeBron James on that crew. KD was the spacer of that crew, and that's why it worked out so well. So LeBron James, a lot of those guys in that crew is probably going to be performing worse because you have Russ, Andre Roberson, Ibaka, and Adams next to you. There's nothing you can create. That rim pressure means nothing. And even this year, we can use this year as an example. You don't have nobody around you, no floor spacers at all besides Devin Booker. And at the end of the day, if two people on your team are the only spacers, yourself included, that it's still not viable spacing. So Giannis Antetokounmpo has benefited from having an elite spacing crew so that he can maximize his capabilities. And KD, which is why I keep telling y'all, like it's kind of hard to assess him now because he hasn't had a fair share of that within the last two postseasons.
But Dub, I would argue that, and I do like the reason why it is a tough question is because out of the two players, there is a level of playmaking that you do need to take into account to assess
AD
how effective. But what I'm saying, this one, like, does Milwaukee theoretically have quote unquote good shooting on their team or spacing? Yes, but at the same time, that spacing is due to Giannis's absurd rim pressure.
That's
like
not true.
Anybody,
That's
no,
not,
it is. Anybody that plays with Giannis is spacing for Giannis is not just due to his team can shoot. It's due to the fact that he is so deadly downhill. anybody that plays with Giannis is going to be open. It's
All
a
right,
fact
so
of can you
how did
make
they beat
shot or
us that
not?
one? How did they beat us that one game? How did they beat Miami that one game?
How did they beat Miami that one game?
How did they beat us? Do you know how? By shooting the fucking ball without Giannis. Even when Giannis
Yeah,
wasn't
that
there,
game.
still
Yeah,
able
that
to shoot.
game. Yeah, they had a great
Even without
winning
Giannis,
game.
still
Now you're
able
talking
to
about an
But
outlier
Dub,
game.
but
shoot the
Dub,
ball well.
you've said you don't believe spacing is making open threes. You said that teams not wanting
Right.
to
It's
leave you
it's
open.
guarding it's guarding you
Like
you
Thomas
can
Bryant
right.
isn't a floor spacer because teams will
Yes.
still leave him open.
So Brook
Teams are
Lopez is,
leaving Giannis' teammates open because when he gets downhill, they're still collapsing. So is that
Which-
spacing or is that Giannis creating shots?
you said what?
Is that spacing or is that Giannis creating open shots? Because they're still collapsing on him. The spacing would be
Right.
them not collapsing and Giannis finishing at the rim.
Exactly.
So does the Bucks have spacing or is Giannis just creating open shots?
Spacing in the regular season, because it's not just the postseason. He does have spacing in the regular season.
We were
because
talking about the playoffs. That's the question.
A lot of that, and then in the playoffs, they do start collapsing on him, which is where you see the drop. So of course they have that, but still, that spacing is better than what KD has had in the last couple of seasons. Having Brook Lopez out there is better than what he was having.
The Nets had spacing.
Middleton.
That was nasty.
But
like,
but the scheme of the offense.
Yeah,
you
yes,
see
I
what
agree.
they were
Steve
doing.
Nash is an imposter. I agree. But
Okay, so that
is Bud.
goes into
So is
it as
Bud.
well.
Let's remember. So is Bud. Bud is a criminal too.
And Bud's
Bud is a
Bud's
criminal,
less criminal.
but when
Come
you
on,
have
don't do that.
personnel like that, it's just I would rather deal with personnel on that end than what KD had on his end. You feel me? And at least the Milwaukee Bucks, I mean, they are a good 3-point shooting team. In the regular season, in the postseason at times, yes, they do collapse on Giannis, but we've seen times where even without Giannis, they're still able to shoot out at a good clip. So it's not predicated on just Giannis Antetokounmpo. Like it's not. And that's what real talk is trying to say.
Can I ask this question? Dub,
No,
can you name like the good shooters on the team?
It's a like a mixture of both. Like I think any players that surround Giannis are going to find themselves having a lot of open shots because they're playing with Giannis. Now, does Giannis also benefit? Like if you put deadly shooters around Giannis? Yeah. I'm saying it's a give and take for both. I don't think it's like necessarily.
Yes, that's how
just
team
spacing
sport works. Yes, that's how.
That's how it works. That's how it works. But it's like, what do you benefit more out of, right? LeBron and his most efficient seasons happened when he had great spacing. That's just not an accident. It's not.
Yeah, and he was a better shooter himself those seasons.
Yeah,
I see what you're saying.
I personally don't believe in the Bucks space in the way Dub does. Like in the regular season, they weren't that great of a shooting team, and in the postseason, they dropped. Oh,
they always seem to.
Well, at least they drop. I know.
They always drop.
Holiday always drops. Yeah, he always drops in the playoffs.
Yeah, Milwaukee and Boston remind me of each other as far as their shooters. Like, do they have people that can shoot, quote unquote? Yes. Is there anybody like? To me, there's nobody on either team that's like just a dead eye shooter like that.
Grayson Allen's probably the closest you'll get to it.
Yeah, Grayson the closest, but like there's no shit, we can't leave him open. Like
they have there's a difference between people who can shoot and shooters.
Right.
Like Luke Kennard is a shooter. Pat Connaughton can shoot.
Right.
Like, there's levels to it. I think the Bucks have a bunch of people who can shoot. But they don't. I don't think they have shooters. Yeah. But I don't
That's
think they
fair.
have.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Like they're always high in terms of like volume of threes, but they're never really high in terms of like percentage. Because plus Giannis takes too many.
You think Pete Milton was a shooter when he was at his best?
I think he was a scorer. I'd call him a scorer.
Yeah, I wouldn't say he's like a shooter.
Good shot creator.
Yeah, like a shot creator. I'd call him that. I'd call him like what I'd call Jamal Murray, but worse. But that's what I'd call him. But you asked the question, Lois Kappa. What's your answer to the question?
Oh yeah, I thought about it because like I was watching the Knicks Cavs series and like and Jalen Brunson was essentially like he was just the Cavs have really good interior defense as we all know, but he was able to carve out like good offense just based on like really good mid-range shooting in that series. like the floaters. He was able to isolate and create well on like Cedi Osman, Darius Garland, and he was able to keep that Knicks offense afloat, even with the elite Cavs defense. And that was just based on really good mid-range shooting and mid-range creation. So that was why I was thinking about it. And that's why I kind of think mid-range creation is more important, because I don't think, like, I really think like the Bucks, for example, would have struggled in that series because it's Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. But like the Knicks were able to like essentially gentlemen sweep them because of good mid-range creation. That was kind of my logic behind it.
I have a question. So, do you think Jalen Brunson played that way because of the great interior defense of the Cavs? So the Cavs had like bad interior defense. Do you think he would have rather drove than create from the midi?
I think he might have driven more, yes.
Because I think they play around what the defense gives them. So the defense is going to give them the middies. He's going to take the middies. But they had weak interior. I don't see the reason why Jalen Brunson would rather not drive than shoot from the midi.
But like if I was saying like they have a weak interior defense, are we also going to give them like strong perimeter defense? Because if they do have strong perimeter defense, then he would probably still have to create from the mid range, right?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Because like, so that question is like, I guess it depends on when you're playing. If you're gonna play, like, if you're gonna go on a run with teams that are mostly like play on the perimeter but don't play good on the interior, you're gonna want to rather drive. But if you play a defense that's only interior, you're gonna want to be on the perimeter.
Yeah, it is matchup dependent. Like if you play against the Nuggets, the game plan would be to try to get to the rim. But if you play against the team like the Bucks, the plan is going to be to shoot and work in the mid range because they play that deep drop. So you're going to want to work in the mid range. So like it does become matchup dependent. But I think with the way the NBA is like right now, I think the mid range is probably like the key to unlocking most of these defenses. Just from the fact that even if you can cause defenses to adjust to your mid range shooting and make them not able to play a deep drop and make that big have to step up, that still opens up opportunities at the rim. But if you can only get downhill, playing against teams who have strong interior defense, you're kind of neutralized. That mid-range can still open up the interior game, but then also it causes you to have that level of perimeter creation that other teams don't have if they're solely relying on a deep threat, which is another reason why I think the mid-range game is probably more valuable in the playoffs. So,
Mars, can I ask you something?
Yes.
Do you think teams leave Milwaukee shooters open
in order to
build the wall?
To stop Giannis, yes.
Do you think they consistently leave them open? Like,
I think they consistently leave Brook Lopez open.
Because when I watch the Bucks, what they do is they don't just be leaving people wide open. They'll just in spurts. Like if Giannis is in the post or Giannis on a crazy drive, like they'll throw a double team then. But they're not consistently like, oh, as soon as Giannis drives, here's a double team. I didn't see that.
It's not about
they still guard you all day
it's about just collapsing and forcing Giannis to make a decision. Like I think that's what it is. I do think they just will leave Brook Lopez. I think Brook Lopez just gets left open. I think Drew Holiday in the playoffs just get left open. But I think like Chris Middleton, Grayson Allen, Pat Connaughton kind of gets left open. But I think those are the two guys that they're willing to help off. But I wouldn't call it just leaving people open. More so as just Giannis collapses the defense and they're gonna rotate. I think that's what they're gonna do.
It's like a late closeout,
Yeah, they're willing to live with those guys taking threes over Giannis getting downhill.
But that doesn't mean that doesn't mean that they can't shoot. That just means that
I agree. They like I said, the Bucks have people who can shoot. I just don't think they have shooters.
Yeah, but you made a point about like the point I say about spacing is when people just deliberately get left wide open, like the Suns and everything. I don't think that happens with the Bucks.
I think it happens to Brook Lopez.
That's about it. And maybe
do you consider Brook Lopez a floor spacer?
Yeah, but he be this year, yeah, but not for the past years.
Do you consider Miles Turner a floor spacer?
No.
Okay. I don't really consider many bigs floor spacers. I think Cat's a floor spacer. I think Jokic is a floor spacer.
I think Brook.
They used to leave Jokic like open. Like I don't know if it was in the regular season.
I don't even.
They used to leave
No, I think Jokic spaces the floor more so because of his passing than his shooting. Like they still will live with Jokic shooting threes. Like if you watch the playoffs, like he only takes them when he's wide open or the shot clock's run down. Like he doesn't like Cat is someone who teams don't leave.
He spaces the floor at the mid-range area.
Do they guard like Nas Reed? Like
I think Cat is probably the
most
best.
Most bigs don't. Yeah,
space.
Cat is the best. Like in terms of a shooting threat, is Cat.
Yeah,
Cat is the number one, and maybe like Porzingis. Porzingis is another one.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't think anyone is really
a shooter or a force
Porzingis, he'll tell.
Embiid only really takes threes when he's wide open as well. But in the mid range, I mean, so he's like a shot creator.
Yeah.
But most bigs I wouldn't really consider floor spacers in the modern NBA.
Hey Mars, so I wanted to go back to what you said about the mid range thing.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't people consider Kobe more like a better playmaker than they give him credit for?
A better finisher?
No, a better playmaker.
Oh, a better play. Oh, because they just like the narrative of he's a ball hog who just chucked up shots and missed the most shots of all time, blah blah blah. But he created some of the most shots I've ever seen. I mean, he did miss a lot of passes as well because he would rather shoot. But I still think he's one of the best playmakers ever, like top 15. Like I think he's an elite playmaker, but I just think people just underrate him.
Because I know in 08, 9, and 10, he was a willing passer, like
very willing passer.
So I'm like, in those 3 years, those are like best playmaking. Like, those are the best playmaking. One of the best playmaking people I've seen play of all time. So I just like, for me, it's like that Jokic thing. He just gets to me sometimes. I'm not gonna lie.
You think Kobe's a better playmaker than John Stockton?
Yes.
Definitely not. Oh my god.
Damn, I don't know, man. Because like in today's, I think like John would have like more gravity because of
No. Because
John Stockton would have more what?
Gravity over Kobe. That's crazy. Because the thing about Kobe,
no, not over Kobe. Like you don't think like because of his shooting, he get like more like.
You have to actually shoot the ball to have the gravity there.
Yeah,
he would have to shoot. I think he'd be forced to shoot more.
And I think for Kobe, like one of his people like to use that as negative, but I think one of his biggest positive being most shot makers of all time. Like attention that he garners, I think that like people use that as a negative, but it's more of a positive in my opinion.
I agree. I think the fact that Kobe's one of the only players I think that him missing wasn't dependent on the defense, in my opinion. And I think that's why his efficiency never really dipped in the playoffs, besides like the 04 finals and like the 08 Celtics, which are like some of the best defense ever. But besides that, because his shot diet was just so difficult to begin with in the regular season and the playoffs.
Yes, yeah.
That it's not really going to fluctuate like when he's taking the same shots in the playoffs. He's going to be just as efficient because it's the same shots he's always been taking. Whereas someone who relies solely on easier opportunities to score, when those opportunities are less easy in the playoffs, you're going to see a bigger decline in your efficiency, which is why like some people who only live on open shots probably are going to be less efficient in the playoffs because you're not going to have as many open shots. So when you're shooting, it's a bit more contested and you're going to miss more. Whereas Kobe, I don't think that was the case because he was just taking so many ridiculous shots to begin with that him making or missing them was basically at the same clip all year round, which is what made him so valuable in my opinion.
I agree.
Can you tell me how Kobe's playmaking is better than John Stockton?
I mean, the simplest argument would probably be scoring gravity. Just the amount of attention that Kobe's drawing on the court and then the shots he's creating with that attention. Not only is that just a high volume, but also the level of shots in which he's creating would probably be more quality looks than the shots that John Stockton is creating himself. Now, in terms of just facilitation, John Stockton's got that. But in terms of what you're actually creating and what you're responsible, like how you're responsible for the looks that your team is getting, I think you could argue Kobe is creating more shots for his team.
Mars, who's the better playmaker, Kobe or Jordan?
Jordan. And I think the reason Jordan's a better playmaker is because of illegal defense. And I've said that before.
But at least you did throw in that caveat. So I think really it's what and what. If you make it, if you like put Jordan in the era Kobe was playing, I think it's about what and what.
I think Kobe, I've said before, I think Kobe was a better passer than Jordan was.
He was.
But I think Jordan, because of illegal defense and the way that double teams worked, Jordan was able to create better shots because of that. and also the fact that I think he was also a more willing passer. Now, even though I think he was a worse passer, but he just passed more than Kobe did, which also led to him creating a higher volume. I think Jordan's probably one of the 10 best playmakers ever. I think Kobe's at top 15.
Question
so it's
mark.
not far away. Oh, damn. Okay, yes.
If you don't air attacks, because you do the whole respecting air shit,
Mm-hmm.
if you don't do that, then where's your rankings gonna be?
So if I did air attacks, because I don't right now. Okay, so if I did air attacks, yeah, Jordan would be lower. Wait, we're talking about all time or as playmakers?
All time playmakers.
Oh,
even all
all-time.
time. Shit, even all time.
Oh, all time. Okay, Bill Russell's out of there. Wilt Chamberlain's out of there. Kareem's out of there.
Even Kareem?
Yeah, like I have Kareem at number 3. He's moving down. He's at 7, 8.
Well, yeah, Kareem as the third best playmaker of all time.
So you got him where I have him.
Player.
Wow.
So if I didn't air attacks, it would probably be, and this list is people are gonna hate this list a lot. If I didn't air attacks, I'd probably go LeBron 1. Kobe 2.
Yes.
Clip it, dog.
Jordan 3.
So that's the top 3.
Yeah.
Fire.
Four I'd go Hakeem. 5 Duncan. 6 Shaq.
That's literally my top 4.
6 Shaq. 7
Can I cook Dub now?
Steph up there, yeah.
7 Steph. 8 Bird. 9 Kareem. And 10
Magic.
I'm not gonna lie, it's not Magic. It's Kevin Garnett. I'm gonna be honest, it's Kevin Garnett.
You know what's so funny about that list,
if I air attack,
that's damn near my top 10 right now.
You know
what's so funny? If I air attacks Magic Johnson, the fact that the brother can't shoot and he's a point guard it's not moving me. I'm sorry. It's not I'm putting him in today's game.
I was wondering.
I'm putting him in today's game and he can't do anything in the half court. Like that's not working. I'm sorry. Like this is why I don't rank. And just so I don't rank with air attaxing. So you guys getting mad at me for this list. I'm never gonna argue for this list because I don't air attacks people. But if I did, I'd start talking about the fact that Jordan benefited from illegal defense. I'd start talking about the fact that Kobe in that same illegal defense era probably looks better. But like I don't make these arguments and I don't want to start making these arguments. This is just a list I would have made up. And I think Shaq just changing the rules completely for how defenses work is what keeps him so high. But then also the fact that he couldn't play defense in today's NBA is what hurts him a little bit, which is why Hakeem would be over Shaq. So yeah, I've already forgot the order I gave you, by the way. So I'm not.
I think it was.
Where do you have?
It was LeBron. It was Bron, Kobe, Mike.
Mark, where do you have
KD would be like after KG, so 11.
So you literally have
over Steph. Oh wait, yeah, Steph at 7.
That's 7. Yeah. So you literally have the same players I have in my top 11, 12. The main discrepancy is KD and Steph.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
But Dub, I'm not. No one's gonna make me defend this list because I don't air attacks people. This is if I did air attacks. So anyone who gets mad at me for this list, it's not what I truly believe. This is not how I view basketball. But if I did view it this way, I'm sorry, Magic Johnson being a 6'9" guy who can't shoot but is trying to dominate the ball the whole game. I'm sorry, that's Russell Westbrook. That doesn't work. It doesn't work. So that's not going to translate. Shaq, like I said, is lower because his defense doesn't translate to the modern NBA. That's why Hakeem is over him. Tim Duncan, the reason he's below Kobe is because of the fact that in his era, that was the worst spaced era of all time. So everyone going to the rim is what made his rim protection so valuable. You put him in an era where the floor is more spaced, his rim protection isn't as valuable. That's why he's below Kobe Bryant. Whereas I think Kobe Bryant's shot making translates to every single era. And the reason Kobe is over Michael Jordan is because of the illegal defense. That's the reason. So there you go.
You think Russ would?
That was the greatest question I've ever
If
asked.
Magic Johnson played today, do you think he'll be worse than?
Great clip.
What's crazy is people going to come up here and still bring up that list, Mars. There's people right now.
Yeah, I mean, people can make when that clip goes on TikTok, people are gonna get mad at me, and it's fine. Like, I'm just saying, this isn't my true beliefs. So this is just how I would view it if I did view the game this way. So there you go.
Panel comes up. It's gonna
So Mars,
it'll be interesting to see if I still call a Kobe hater.
You're not one of the people that find it so crazy that when like people have Kobe like top 3 or okay.
I got him top 3.
I've spoke about that on TikTok. Like someone asked me like how I feel about the Kobe and LeBron debate, and I said like if you listen to the people who have Kobe over LeBron, instead of just trying to argue with them and prove that you're right and why LeBron's better, just listen to what they say. The things they value is just different to the things that the people who think LeBron's better value. Like if they value like the ability to like make tough shots and the ability to like do the things that like LeBron James being more one-dimensional as a scorer. So for someone who's a fan of Kobe Bryant, they're going to say LeBron James is a worse scorer than Kobe. They're not going to care about the stats that you bring up. They're not going to care.
Correct.
because Kobe Bryant's game, his scoring is so. If you take away his 3-pointer, guess what? He can work in the mid-range. If you take away his mid-range, guess what? He's getting all the way to the rim. Guess what? If you want to take away his ability to get to the rim, he can put you in the high post, the mid post, the low post, all of them. Then if you double team him, he can still make the right reads. So you saying, oh, well, LeBron averaged 27 on 50% from the field. They're not going to care. You're just saying this thing it's falling on deaf ears. They're not going to listen to you. So you actually have to listen to what they are saying and the things they value and then have a discussion based on what they value. Now, you don't have to value the same things. That's the point of the discussion. But you to act like they're just crazy for valuing different things to you just never makes sense to me. Now, the people who value dumb things like, oh, well, this guy won more championships, so he's better. Okay, you need to be quiet. But if you just listen to what someone values and then talk to them based on that, and then just as long as their list is consistent, I've always said that, as long as the list is consistent to their values, I don't have a problem. But it's the issue I have is when people's lists are inconsistent. That's when I have a problem.
That's Chill Town. That's my problem with Chill Town.
I have a question real quick. No, I like Chill Town. His criteria straight. Him and Elder.
It's not. It's all over the place because he's Shaq's sibling, and he have to keep Kobe out the top 10.
We'll talk about that another time. But look, I know Dub got the Mars.
Oh, damn, we ran over. Jesus Christ, I got to end the show. Jokic is going to put up Shaq's finals numbers. Yes, he is. Sorry for running over. My fault. Whoops.